following is a presentation of the Big Ten Conference.
We've got football weather in Pennsylvania as Penn State's back home for the second week in a row. One of the best young quarterbacks in the country, Drew Aller, trying to put his team on a championship track, working with one of the most successful coaches in college football, James Franklin, hunting the ultimate prize.
There's probably more noise right now on a national scale, but we're kind of used to this. It's a place that has very high expectations and standards. We always have. We embrace it. We've worked really hard to get to this position. People recognize and respect what we've done. But the reality is, no one really cares. It's how it all ends up at the end. There's unfinished business as a team. And how are you going to find a way now to be successful? Go out and earn it.
It's been a rainy Saturday morning here at Beaver Stadium, but just in time, the clouds are starting to part and the sun is starting to shine. Marathon presents football on the Big Ten Network. FIU out of Conference USA in town to take on the number 2 team in the land. We've been here for 3 days enjoying ourselves, drinking it all in, and there's one question that has State College buzzing. Is this team a championship team in the making? Welcome Yogi Roth, Guy Haberman, Rhett Lewis down on the field. The number 2 team in the country. Later today here on the Big Ten Network, the number 1 team in the nation, Ohio State. That's never happened before here on BTN, and it makes for a great day.
Yeah, I mean, if you love football, you love what today is all about. You referenced Ohio State. They finished the business James Franklin was referring to. Now, this team here in State College, they know why they all came back. It's a very mission-minded and veteran-laden team. They are juiced. They can't wait to run out of this tunnel and get it on this afternoon.
It's been so fun talking to players this week. You heard Tony Rojas, who's done it many times. Dominic DeLuca, who's done it many times. They said right now in this moment, what it feels like as a player to be in that tunnel, it feels like being in a movie. Here they come. Penn State's won 29 straight non-conference home games, the 3rd longest streak in college football. Beaver Stadium still under construction, but can still hold 106,000 when it needs to. 3 weeks away from Oregon being here for a whiteout game, but still a couple of jobs to do before then for these Nittany Lions.
It's out on the field in pregame, and you just feel the energy. The grass is perfect. It's a little damp, but it feels like football in Pennsylvania in the fall. And with this team and all those players on a knee, they know the goal, but they know they have to go 1-0 this week. Their opponent, FIU.
A dominant win over Nevada in week 1. Saw the offense be nearly perfect. The defense almost perfect in terms of keeping the opponent out of the end zone. Didn't punt last week. And for James Franklin, there's no doubt the number 2 team in the country. That's a number that just matches the expectations that are always here. Rhett Lewis down on the field with James Franklin.
Coach, up front on defense, denied Dennis Sutton, Zane Durant wrecking balls last week in week 1. How do they help set the tone for what you want to accomplish today?
Yeah, 2 physical, experienced players. I think we can play even better. That's what we want to do today. We want to be a more physical football team than we were last week. Those 2 guys lead the charge.
Coach, your quarterback, Drew Aller, wasting no time getting to work with his new receivers, Kyron Hudson, Trevor Pena, Devontae Ross, 14 combined receptions last week. How does that group together take the next step today?
Yeah, we just want to continue to build on that. That chemistry is going to be really important for us as the season goes on. So the confidence and the chemistry in our passing game, specifically with those 3 new guys, is going to be really important.
Coach, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Rhett. Well, James Franklin knows, everybody knows. Drew Aller, this is one of college football's great stars. And now, Yogi, it feels like he's getting receiver help.
Well, you said coming out of the tunnels like a movie. Well, he's the leading man here in State College, and he's got a great supporting cast. You could argue the best receivers he's played with in his time here in State College. And Kyron Hudson, this is a huge addition. And this was one of the throws of the weekend in all of college football last weekend against Nevada. Drew Aller, he doesn't have to reset his feet. His arm talent finds the end zone. Kyron Hudson finds the end zone. And then how about this? Full field throws to Trevor Pena. Not a lot of quarterbacks throw this in college football. Drew Aller throws it with ease. And then coming on back, being able to get the ball over a hook defender, over a linebacker, in front of a DB with touch, with accuracy on the sideline. There's Pena again, and James Franklin, yes, he is excited about this core and the veteran leadership from that man, Kyron Hudson, and Trevor Pena. This duo, impressive last week. I think they'll add to that today. They want to take some shots early in this ball game.
Well, Kyron Hudson, Yogi mentioned it, what a joy it was to talk to yesterday at the facility. An instant impact on offense and an instant impact stalking the sidelines is Nittany Dennis Sutton, who was so dominant last week. And Yogi, I know Zane Durant, those two guys together can be a nightmare.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, 22 times they lined up next to one another, something we'll be tracking all game long here. How about Coach Franklin saying they want to be more physical? Well, if they are, this crowd is going to be even more on their feet. They're going to be louder. This is a fun student section. You could argue the best in all of college football. And if those two get after the quarterback, there's going to be a lot to cheer about.
Penn State won the toss and chose to defer. FIU, they had a dominant win themselves last week against Bethune-Cookman. And so they are 1-0 as well. Gabriel Wosu to kick it away. And it'll come out to the 25-yard line. FIU gets the ball for first. Kewan Jenkins is their quarterback. They call him Lights Out. Nobody calls him Kewan. He has been a steady hand. The third full season as the starter. First year under the head coach Willie Simmons, and he seems to be the centerpiece of it all on offense.
Yeah, look, this guy's used to being the centerpiece. He was a three-time state champion in high school in South Florida. Never lost a game in his high school career. He is the man that this entire program looks to. He had a chance to hop in the portal, said, no, I got unfinished business. We talked to him earlier this week. Said, what do you think about starting backed up in front of the student section? He said, nothing I'm not ready for.
And movement.
Delay game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
I mean, can you blame them?
I'll tell you what, folks. Just listening to this crowd in this student section, we talked about the expectations, right? What a cool day it is on Big Ten Network. Number 2 team, number 1 team. The expectation is to be in that conversation for it all at the end. Fan base knows it.
Running the ball on first down, and that is Kejon Owens, the centerpiece of kind of the skill guys around Jenkins, the running back. As you take a look at the FIU starters, Demps is the starter in the slot. An offense that was very productive last week on the ground, tied a school record with 6 rushing touchdowns. Behind the offensive line is coordinated by Nick Coleman, and the plays are called by the head coach, Willie Simmons. Pressure. And that is off the fingertips and incomplete of Alex Perry. And now it's third down. And take a look at the defensive starters. A Penn State defense that in total only was on the field for 54 snaps last week. But the big news this week, Zariah Fisher missed all of last season with a spring injury. Hasn't played since the 2023 bowl game. He returns. Rojas Campbell and DeLuca. And also back this week is the nickelback Zion Tracy, who missed the opener.
How about this? Keep an eye on Nittany Dennis Sutton. He's just kind of lurking, just kind of roaming at the top of the screen.
Third down. And it is Dennis Sutton who nearly gets home. Jenkins gets away and throws it away, avoids the sack somehow. Rojas and Dennis Sutton were there along with Alonzo Ford.
Keep an eye on Dennis Sutton on this play. Double, you could argue triple team there at the top of the screen. Tight end, running back, tackle.
Penn State,
no
number
chance.
5 will be
You
wearing
got no
jersey
chance.
91 for the following play. Number 5 will be wearing jersey 91.
Yogi, also watching down here on the field, that was Zane Durant lined up as an edge defender, something to follow moving forward here in this game since he and Sutton end up on the same side of the defensive line so much.
Devontae Ross is back deep. Denied Dennis Sutton was the man closest to the punter there, Trey Wilhoit. And now Ross trying to set it up. And he gets out to the 35-yard line, and now we get to watch one of the best in the nation for the first time today, Drew Allen.
Well, the command that he has shown in this offense in year 2 under Andy Kotelnicki is so impressive. You look at him, immediately goes to the wristband. This is an outfit that's got a variety of tempos, but overall they look to number 15 for all of the answers. And he carries so much of the line of scrimmage. You'll see so much movement today, shifts, motions, so many different trades from tight ends and offensive linemen. Here's one right now. Drew Allen's going to line up at wideout.
With both running backs, Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen in the game together, and Allen's going to hand it to Singleton, who's running behind the tight end, Khalil Dinkins.
They just force you to communicate as a defense, right? You think, all right, first play of the game, we can just line up and play, right, guys? No, not for Andy Kotelnicki. They're going to shift. Now you got to communicate as a defense. You have to be on it. There's Aller at wide receiver. They run the other way, and they get a puller from Dinkins as a tight end. I mean, guys, it just tax your eyes and your discipline as a defender.
Anthony Donko is lined up outside of left tackle. 6 offensive linemen on the field. Donko normally the right guard, and Aller's going to hand it off inside to Allen. He's able to get a first down. Well, it's a good thing you put both running backs in the starting lineup. Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen, they were out there together to start it. You see 6 offensive linemen already in this game. Dawkins, the Warfel Award winner, the heartbeat, the center for this offensive line. Allen, wobbly ball, long throw on the money to Ross. Didn't have a catch last week. The transfer from Troy.
We talked about it in the open of how so many quarterbacks and so many offenses in college football, they've eliminated the full field out throw. Drew Aller just made it look easy. Looked like a guy who plays on Sundays, and that's up against Brian Blades, the top corner for FIU. Talk about him as the game goes on. You recognize that last name if you follow college football.
His dad won 2 national championships at Miami. His uncle Benny, an All-American. He goes by Deuce. Here's Katron Allen again, and he gets popped for no gain. Take a look at the defensive starters for FIU.
I think of
Jovan DeWitt, Yogi, the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, and a huge part is Johnny Chaney Jr. You'll see him in the middle of this defense. He's going to be the guy who has the green dot, meaning he's communicating to Coach DeWitt as your reference guy. And with all the movement and shifts, they've got to be so gap sound. They have to be so disciplined today with all the eye candy that they are going to see.
Third down opportunity here for this FIU defense.
This is where Aller's just special. Look at him checking at the line of scrimmage again.
With pressure in his face, can't connect with Trevor Pena, and now it's 4th down. Kind of an in-between zone here, Yogi. Offense is hanging out right now.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a 4-down territory for your offense. I thought Pena was going to be wide open down the sideline, ran a little bit of a wheel route. The thing with Drew Aller is that he can handle all of these situations, so he knows where the sticks are. Will I use my legs? Is FIU going to drop 8 and play coverage here? Will they bring pressure?
Penn State team that didn't punt all last week because they scored on every drive except the kneel down at the end of the game. 9 straight drives to score last week in the opener. So 4th down and 5, and that's broken up and FIU gets a turnover on downs to start the game. Penn State still hasn't punted, but they didn't score.
Timeout.
Tonight, Dennis Sutton comes back to the stage next. Let's take a look at today's Impact Players, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Can I make a prediction, guy?
Okay.
Every week, these two will be the impact players for Penn State all season long. I mean, they're two of the most dominant players defensively in all of college football.
Not lined up next to each other, rare occasion perhaps. FIU, after getting the stop, strong run by Owens of 3 to start. So FIU stopped Penn State on 4 downs, and this is their second possession.
Yeah, and let's reset FIU a little bit. Remember, their first play of the game was a penalty, so they were behind the sticks from jump. This is an RPO offense. That means run, pass, option. And their quarterback, Kewan Jenkins, #1, he's incredible with his vision. He's reading defenders. Hand it off or throw it.
Jenkins, flush, gets it out of his hand somehow to Dallas Payne, who's got a first down. But Chaz Coleman almost got there, and a good play by the quarterback Jenkins. If you're looking for a Minnesota Northwestern State game, go to big10.org/BTN game. Find her right now to find out where you can find the game in your area.
You know, what you'll see today, too, from FIU, because of the explosiveness of Penn State, you'll see a variety of tempos. You'll see them huddle traditionally. They're 4 yards from the line of scrimmage right now. They call that like a little bit of a sugar huddle. And then they'll get to the line of scrimmage, snap it quickly.
Jenkins, Coleman in pursuit. And he flips it out with that left hand, but tough angle for Owens. And now it's second down.
I think a huge part for Jenkins is when he sees that he can get the ball out, he's got to get the ball out. Nice job at the top from that young player, Chaz Coleman, true freshman, former quarterback in high school, chasing down the current quarterback in college.
Well, James Franklin said it. Campbell had an unbelievable camp. He played 22 snaps early last week. If you could add him to that combination with Nittany, Sutton, and Durant, pressure everywhere, they beat it. Owens through a gaping hole and a first down. Pick up a 21.
It's a nice job by the offensive front at FIU. Watch this offensive line. They're going to go this way, but they're going to run it the other direction. It's kind of hard there. There's a tackle, climbs to the linebackers, and away Owens goes.
Here comes pressure, and Owens is able to avoid the loss. It was Deshaun Lane coming on the blitz from his safety position and tripped up the running back.
Owens, he's one of the leaders of this team, really vocal all week long, knowing the opportunity that they have to go play at Penn State. And look, the environment can swallow you. We've seen this all over college football. But at the end of the day, it's still 11 on 11. The more you can recenter yourself, give yourself a chance. Pretty nice drive so far.
The 24th year of football, 22nd year of football at the FBS level for FIU. Jenkins goes under center. And he'll hand it off to Carey to back up back, and he goes backwards.
Yeah, Xavier Gilliam, I mean, just absolute penetration, interior defensive line. You're going to see it right into your kitchen, right over the center. Quick first step, crosses the center's face, and he's in the backfield. I mean, the first step, I mean, we saw it yesterday in practice here at Penn State, defensive line doing drills. Sometimes you feel like you're around a bunch of basketball players. They're so quick, they're so explosive.
Third down and long.
And here's 28 and 33 lined up right next to each other at the top of the screen. Look out.
And Zariah Fisher racing off the bottom, trying to get to Jenkins. He gets it out again to Payne, and he's pulling the defender. Eventually, Tony Rojas, no, that's Kenny Woosley, wins that battle. And now it's fourth down and short.
Yeah, and they're going for it. I love the aggressive nature here from Willie Simmons and company. Like, they know what the deal is in this game. Roster-wise, talent-wise, they're overmatched, but he's always been known as an extremely creative offensive mind. You're going to your absolute best call here on a fourth down opportunity.
Couple of tight ends in the game, and now whistles because FIU needed a timeout. Took the timeout right before the snap.
Charge timeout, FIU, their first of the half. It will be 30 seconds in length.
Right now, the first 250 fans will get $25 off a Big Ten Plus annual pass. Stream nearly 200 Penn State games plus 2,500 more events across the Big Ten this season. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to big10plus.com and make sure you enter FB20 when selecting an annual pass at checkout to take advantage of this offer. Rhett?
Yeah, I was just watching Willie Simmons jump onto the field from the sideline there. Looked like he was upset with something that McNeil was doing out at the wide receiver spot. Maybe in alignment. I think he had the look he wanted on that 4th down call, but something he didn't like with the alignment there of McNeil, the wide receiver.
They love motion down here. Keep an eye on the tight end, Jackson Verdugo at the top of the screen.
It's going to be Jenkins. He gets it out of his hands, incomplete under the pressure of Tony Rojas. Each team stops the other on 4th down. And now Penn State takes back over. Oh, what a great atmosphere here at State College. Neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night. That's what the Postal Service says. We'll keep them away. A little morning rain, a little Pennsylvania drizzle, just nothing, right? The kid from Lackawanna Trail, Yogi Roth, back in his home state. This is nothing.
No, it's good to be home, and this is just great to walk around campus, talking to students. We got to pop into a class yesterday. The excitement from these students in this student section, it is paramount.
Second possession for Penn State after they stopped FIU on 4th down. Drew Aller with time to loft it for Devontae Ross, and he gets interfered with, and that's going to be a 15-yard penalty. That ball just hung in the air.
Pass interference, defense number 4, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Victor Evans III was the man locked up with Devontae Ross.
Yeah, Ross is the speed of this receiving core. Nice job of working his way back to the ball through the defender. Every time the defender does not turn their eyes, there's contact like that, inhibiting the arms of Ross. It's going to be called, but I look at the protection. Talk about tailgating, just cooking steaks back there for Drew Aller. Max protection, throwing enough for Ross, trying to make a big play.
Singleton, big hole, and is able to get a big chunk. Rhett?
You know, I was watching the FIU defense after they came off with that 4th down stop on the first possession, and there was a celebration briefly. Then they went right to work. D-line coach Kenechi Udeze going right to the iPads, saying, hey, we prepared for this motion this way. They're doing it a little bit differently. I think those iPads guys are going to be huge for FIU here in the second year of having them as they try to figure out what Andy Kotelnicki's up to.
Hey, Kenechi Udeze, he was an All-American defensive lineman at USC here in the Big Ten as well. We had a chance to talk to him pregame. So how do you feel about your group? He goes, I think I got a couple real ones. And to Rhett's point, this defensive front, when you look at it, these are guys that have played in big-time football in their career at times, put on a lot of weight. They felt like they got a lot longer this offseason, trying to see if they can wreak some havoc in the backfield.
Singleton again. Another big hole. And he's across midfield. Let's go to Ashley Adamson in Chicago for an Anderson Window Studio update.
Guy, this is what you call a good start. First play from scrimmage in Minnesota Northwestern State. John Nestor reads it perfectly. It's a pick six, 6 seconds into the game, and they just punched it in for another score. It's 14-0 Gophers.
Meanwhile, here a 3rd down coming up for Penn State. A couple of tight ends in the game, and Singleton gets the mark on the near side is short. The mark on the far side is a yard further. It's the near side official, so it's 4th down and 1.
Yeah, he looked a little short from up here as well. Penn State's going to bring in an extra offensive lineman, T.J. Shanahan, number 54. So they're going to go big personnel here.
0 for 1 on 4th down. That was a 4th and 5. This is more than workable for Singleton.
I mean, they have some talented offensive linemen. I know they didn't play perfect in week 1. That's a big point of emphasis. But look at the right side of that group right there. I mean, there's just a lot of mass, a lot of movement. Benga, Ioane, we've seen him do a little bit of everything. No motion there, but still able to lead the way for a first down.
There's Katron Allen. Breaks away from the first defender, and a Penn State first down.
Guy, it might seem simple, but when Penn State trades and shifts and moves, I know they're going fast here, it forces the defense to really communicate.
Aller, that exchange was a little bobbly, and then Dinkins can't make that catch. It looked like the ball got maybe bothered as he pulled it back from Allen. This is the previous play.
Yeah, and watch. Here's their running back. You go from the right of the quarterback to the left of the quarterback. You just force the defense to adjust just 6 to 8 inches a little bit, but that is enough. That is more than enough for Katron Allen to find a window and an explosive run.
8th play of this drive after the red zone 4th down stop. Here's Allen again, and he spins off the first man. Jermaine Carter gets 3, where a lesser man would have been stopped in his tracks by the big defensive lineman coming in at 275.
Yeah, that's a nice play there from Dante Anderson. Talked about some of the defensive linemen playing at other places. He's a transfer from Florida State. He's played in big environments. And I think when we see look at that shot, by the way, oh my, I mean, this is what college football is all about, man. But when you see the trading, the movement, the shifting, there's so much communication that has to happen amid the front 7 on the defense.
Aller on 3rd down, pressure off the edge. He drops down and connects with Luke Reynolds, the tight end, a first down for the Nittany Lions.
It's a really nice job. Talk about veteran leadership from Drew Aller, sitting in the pocket, know he's going to take a shot, like the combination route, a little delay outside, then breaks back inside. Perfect ball location on that front number. And Aller says, I know I'm going to get hit, but I know we're going to move the sticks. Little sidearm showing a variety of arm angles. And look, he's a legit Heisman candidate, folks. I mean, anybody watching college football knows that when you see number 15.
Aller. Looking. Dinkins has got it. Touchdown, Penn State. Kept Dinkins in the game late last week against Nevada so he could get a touch. This week he gets the first touchdown.
Yeah, well, I just love, look at the eyes of Drew Aller. He sees Dinkins, waits, he baits the defender, and just perfect touch. Again, over the linebacker, perfect location. Dinkins makes up for a drop on the drive for a touchdown.
Ryan Barker on for the point after, and it's good. Well, last week was about the receivers, but just because 44's gone doesn't mean you can stop covering the tight ends.
Timeout on the field.
Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by Marathon, official fuel of the Big Ten. And by Anderson Windows and Doors. Trust your home to Anderson. I mean, you just go game by game by game. Such a successful week in week 1. 16-2 overall. Just give you an idea how good the defenses were. Penn State gave up 11 points and is 9th in the league in defense after 1 week of football. I know Bryce Underwood, we saw his photo there, Yogi. Looking forward to seeing more of him. this year. Let's look back at that Penn State touchdown.
Yeah, we talked about the theme of all the movement and the shifting and the motioning. Look at Khalil Dinkins from one side to the other side. There's so much communication that has to happen defensively. He lines up here. Watch him just work the route as the play evolves. Drew Aller understands it's going to take a little time. Dinkins gets banged a little bit. Perfect location. Trust from one vet to another.
Yogi, also in dealing with all those motions and shifts and everything, was listening to the FIU defensive line again coming off the field. Keegan Davis, their defensive lineman, number 44, was saying, we got to hear it. We have to hear the calls we're making. Communication is such a key. And even though the crowd isn't at full throat when Penn State is on offense, that baseline decibel level can still cause some issues.
You can practice, Red, as you know, as a player, you can practice with crowd noise, but nothing really can simulate what it's like here in Beaver Stadium.
Not to mention what it must do to your heart. Second down. Owens, flag comes in, maybe gets a yard. We'll check on the penalty. Tim O'Day.
Holding, offense number 51, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Second down.
Third penalty on FIU already.
I'll tell you what, how about this being the third stop for Jim Knowles, where he was the lone new guy coming in when you look at the majority of the defensive staff. We talked to him about that yesterday. How do you install the defense? What's different about here and Oklahoma State or Ohio State? There's the extremely well-known defensive coordinator right in the middle of the screen. And he said, look, when I came in here, it was such a veteran group that I didn't have to start from scratch. It wasn't like this defense was down. It's been one of the best defenses in the country for quite a long time under James Franklin.
Here's the backup back, Anthony Carey.
So to that point, when he came in and started installing his defense, he said, well, we carried over some of the language from a year ago because we have all these vets. I mean, you just look at the field right now. You see Dominic DeLuca, three-time captain, Tony Rojas. I mean, you see some players that have played so many snaps here at Penn State. He said, I wanted to make sure they can get up to speed as quickly as possible. And they have done that because this defense has played fast. They have played fearless. And now we got denied Dennis Sutton back on the field at a defensive tackle position. One of the most explosive defensive players in America.
With Eni White outside of him, and now he moves to the other side. And pressure up the middle. Jenkins escapes again. He's done a good job of that today, directing traffic. His tight end, Justin Cayenne, very close but shy of the line to gain. A pickup of 12.
Be Kewan Jenkins. Just imagine this at home. And to your point, here comes number 33 into the picture. Spin move. You got to see, you got to keep your eyes up. And they live to 4th and short. And it looks like they're going to go for it. Nice job by Jenkins keeping his eyes up. He's not a guy that's going to QB sneak all day long. So I'll be curious here what they try to call. I mean, running right in the teeth of this defensive front is not the easiest of tasks.
Play clock is at 5. And now the crowd's getting louder. And did they take a timeout? Yes, they did. FIU took its second timeout. We'll see if they keep the offense out ahead of a 4th and 1.
Their second of the half. Timeout on the field.
Fourth down and 1 coming up from their own 34-yard line for the FIU Panthers.
They've had their most success with misdirection type plays when the tight end is going one way just to slow down some of the edges and linebacker play of Penn State.
Quarterback Jenkins, quick throw, gets it out to McNeil, and he's got a first down.
That's a great play call from head coach Willie Simmons. He doubles as the head coach and the play caller. Nick Coleman is the offensive coordinator. Offensive line goes right. You're thinking they're going to run it that way. They bring Rojas. He bites just enough to get the ball out for the first down conversion to Kyle McNeil. Really, really impressive play call.
So Penn State had a 4th and short conversion on its drive that resulted in a touchdown. And back to the ground to Carey. And he gets a 5-yard pickup on first down. Let's go to Ashley Adamson in Chicago for an Anderson Window studio update.
Guy, it's a busy day. Out to Bloomington we go. Indiana's offense looking more in sync than a week ago. Fernando Mendoza to Elijah Surratt. Hoosiers up 2 scores on Kennesaw State still in the first quarter, guys.
Big challenge for that FIU offensive line today, Yogi.
Yeah, well, look, they feel as though they're up for it. I mean, they got 3 transfers, 2 from Power 4 schools, NC State and Miami. They'll play 7 today. Nice job on that first down.
Carry again. Well, he didn't like the view and found a worse one.
Well, that's the problem. That's Jalen Harvey making a play. They're doing a decent job, I think, against the interior. That's Penn State defensive front guy. For the most part, when it's not denied Dennis Sutton, they've held their own. I mean, they're clogging it up. They're double teaming. It's these edges. They're so fast and explosive. And then here come these linebackers to fill. And I'll tell you what, it's been fun watching this stadium fill today, Martha.
First quarter, timeout on the field.
Sun still breaking through here at State College. 1 quarter of football done. Just about ready for the start of the second quarter. Penn State on defense after a earlier 4th down conversion already from FIU. Still ahead. A great day of football continues. Jeremiah Smith, #1 Ohio State and Grambling. That is coming up next here on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. 3rd down, Jenkins, tough throw, tough catch, and a first down for Alex Perry. And Jenkins is slow to rise. Now we get some help, pops up.
Yeah, he sat in the pocket. I mean, he's a tough guy. I mean, saw it in high school, seen it in college. He just navigates that pocket. A lot of chaos happening in front of him, delivers a strike. So much happened. Really impressive communication up front. There's twists, there's stunts, there's denied Dennis Sutton. I was curious up here if it was a catch or not. Let's take a look.
Does that ball touch the ground as it's loose?
It's not.
Carry churning for a couple yards. Let's take another look at this.
Hard to tell. I mean,
conclusive is what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Is it without a question?
Obvious. It's kind of up against his helmet and his chin strap.
It's certainly moving there. The question is, did that hit the ground or not? 9th play of this drive coming up.
I'll tell you, this offensive line is settled in. And what Penn State's trying to do is find one-on-ones with their top edge players. They bring pressure.
They flip it to McGuire. Anderson, good blocking on the edge. First down and a big play. Coming up for the hit was King Mack, but a huge gain for Anderson. 21 on the pickup.
Well, again, it's a misdirection play. Looks like everything's going to the left, and it's a quick end around inside handoff, and it was a physical collision. Whoa.
Everybody's fired up down there. My goodness. Jenkins under pressure, throws an interception. Alonzo Ford. The 2nd week in a row, a Penn State defensive tackle has a pick.
Well, if you were sitting on your hands, you are no longer. Alonzo Ford, he's standing up. This defensive line is rising up.
Well, last week it was turnovers. In fact, they forced turnovers on the first 2 Nevada drives of the game, scored 16 points off the 3 of them. And there was Alonzo Ford celebrating with his teammates after his interception.
As he should. Defensive linemen don't touch the rock too often, but here at Penn State, maybe we'll start seeing some of them as a fullback. Eligible tight end in the red zone in the goal line, short yardage. Who knows, Andy Koldenicki?
Direct snap to Katron Allen after they shifted, and he gets stuffed.
Let's take another look here. Here's Alonzo Ford at the defensive tackle position. I want you to watch his arms. Watch him extend against the offensive line, and then look at his helmet. his eyes. They're looking at Jenkins the entire time, and he catches it with his hands. It doesn't get to the body. How about that for the defensive tackle?
Kind of a unique setup, guys, down here on the field with the Penn State defensive line group on the bench, right? They've got a stand that they put the iPad on, and that was the most popular place to be on the sideline. Everybody wanted to get a glimpse of that forward interception. Like a screening room.
That's right, a viewing party. Here's Drew Aller, and that's a little behind on the hip. Katron Allen makes the catch, but it's going to be 3rd down and 6.
That's a 3rd throw today where Drew's missed a little bit. Just a little bit behind, a little bit out in front. They do practice with a wet ball. This is the first time that it has rained for Penn State, whether it be practice or obviously a game.
Hey, Yogi, one thing to watch too with Drew Aller is, he's the guy that can take home that biggest stuffed animal at the fair, right? Like, he's got those big time wow throws. I think NFL evaluators want to see a little bit more consistency with some of the gimmies like that.
Aller, long throw. There is Ross to the wide side of the field, and he just flicked it for a 1st down.
Well, my favorite acronym guy at the quarterback position, it's PACE. Plays after critical errors, and a little bit of a miss for Drew Aller. That's an error. This was not. Right after, they go right back to Ross. Out route, not an easy throw, and I love it. That is not a laser. That is not tremendous arc. It is firm with an arc. That is a very specific throw in the quarterback world. They call that a trajectory 2 throw. Firm with an arc, layers it beautifully.
I will toss it to Allen. Blockers in front. Dinkins with a huge block. And a 1st down for Allen. Let's go to Ashley Adamson again in Chicago with an Anderson Window Studio update.
Yeah, guy, it is a busy day around the Big Ten. Illinois at Duke from the 1. Caden Fagan plunging into the end zone. Illini up 4 in Durham, guys.
Thanks, Ashley. Part of a big day, Yogi, in the league. Illinois at Duke today.
Some really big road tests. Of course, Michigan going to Oklahoma, the game of the week. You could argue around the country in college football. Oklahoma State heading in to Eugene and Autzen Stadium as well.
2 backs into the game. It's Singleton's turn, and he slithers through a small hole and picks up 4 yards.
It's really showed up today in this first half of this offensive line for Penn State is the amount of pullers. I mean, they are getting offensive linemen out. Nolan Rucci showcasing some athleticism.
Allen looking deep, and then he pulls it down to the middle. And that is Kyron Hudson's first catch today, and that's a 1st down. You were looking at Pena.
Oh, yeah, a little double move from Pena. I thought he was taking a shot, and Pena kind of put the brakes on late, so Aller saw that, said no problem.
Illegal substitution, 12 players on the field on defense at the snap. That penalty has been declined. The result of the play is a 1st down.
12-yard gain, so declined the penalty.
Even against 12, Drew Aller's pretty special. But you see it up here in our perch, and I'm thinking double move at the top of the screen. Aller goes left all the way to the right. You're thinking, oh, this is a touchdown. And he goes, nope, no problem. Let me check it down and find Kyron Hudson. And to me, that's the discernment. We saw it last week. There was a player who decided just to tuck it and run it, not force it. Nice job there from the veteran quarterback.
He's going to give it here to Singleton. And he gets knocked down after a short gain. And it's after a 6-yard gain, and it's 2nd down. Kyron Hudson had the career-high 6 catches against Nevada. And we talk about the adjustments on defense, new defensive coordinator Jim Knowles, but Kyron Hudson, you mentioned off the top, in from SC. Trevor Pena in from Syracuse. He was 2nd team All-ACC last year.
And what those two also have in common is they were captains at their previous school. So they've brought in just another layer of veteran elements. There's a double move again.
Lofts it. Hudson. That was a difficult play for him to get through the defensive back. He wanted a penalty. It's incomplete.
Yeah, they try a little wheel route with Hudson. We've seen that called. We've seen it not. Often the DB has to turn and look. Not happening there. Usually when the wideout has to jump back into the DB on an underthrown ball, you do see PI. James Franklin looking at that replay as well. And I feel like, Coach, I mean, I feel like we always see that get called when is an underthrown deep ball.
9th play of this drive. FIU swarms, and now it's 4th down. What do they do here?
Yeah, I think it's 4 down territory. If you're Penn State, you're this offensive line, you know what their schedule is, right? You know, they got Villanova, and then they got a bye, and here comes Oregon. I think that you're saying to yourself, guys, we can get 1.5 yards, 2 yards. See if we can keep the drive moving along here. The challenge is what they usually do here is they will give you some sort of trade, shift, motion, try to make the defense have to be perfect. Here's your motion.
Katron Allen in the back. He'll get it. And this is very close to the line to gain. FIU thinks they stopped him. Penn State players are pointing, saying we got it. And the official ruling is turnover on downs.
Yeah, it looked short.
It's a
from
stop
up here, guy. And I thought this was one Drew Aller could have kept it on the zone read. FIU saying, thanks for not keeping it. We're going to make a stop, and we're getting the rock back.
Coming up on Thursday, don't miss women's soccer when the 9th-ranked Nittany Lions open conference play up against Maryland. Live coverage begins at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. So after a 4th down stop for FIU's defense, they take over on offense with Devontae Lyons picking up 9 yards.
Hey, let's take a look at that 4th and 2 stop. That's Johnny Chaney. He's the captain. He's going to see Katron Allen right here. Watch this zone read play from his right to the left. That's often where those runs go. He says, yeah, I'm going to predict correctly. Does that untouched. And how about his tackle, physicality from the senior from Florida, transfer from Colorado.
Jenkins steps up. Long throw on the money. That is caught by Joe Stone out to the 45-yard line. Pick up a 26.
I'm Penn State. I'm bringing a little bit of pressure now. Wouldn't be shocked to see Jim Knowles dial it up. Really nice job responding from Jenkins after that interception. Doesn't flinch, not surprised. This guy's just a winner everywhere. They're trying to create some spacing in the pass game. This is a confident group coming from Florida.
Jenkins, quick throw, and that was behind Stone. FIU in Miami, just 15 minutes from FIU's campus to the University of Miami's campus in Coral Gables. Enrollment 55,000, so the school is about as big, maybe a little bigger of an enrollment on main campus than Penn State. But they've only been playing football for just less than a quarter century. In fact, this is the second meeting between these two. The first meeting was a blowout win by Penn State, 59-0, but it was Mario Cristobal's head coaching debut as the head coach at FIU. Back to the ground. That ball almost came out on the exchange, and Dennis Sutton is there. He's fun.
He's a little bit of everywhere.
Some of the notable alumni: Ty Hilton, the actor Andy Garcia, and somehow your friend Raja Bell.
Well, his son Dia was the Elite 11 MVP, which is your top quarterback camp. Drew Aller was a part of it. Actually, the entire quarterback room at Penn State has been a part of that.
Big third down here for FIU.
I'm bringing pressure on Penn State. I got to heat this quarterback up. He's finding a little bit of comfort here late in the second quarter.
Penn State showing pressure, backs out of it. Denied Dennis Sutton in pursuit, and that almost gets picked as well. Zane Durant was there, and Dennis Sutton was just stalking and stalking on Jenkins. Saying, I pulled up in time.
Look, there's one thing to try to block, deny Dennis Sutton. There's one thing to try to use misdirection. There's another thing trying to run away from him.
Oh.
I mean, doesn't he remind you of Myles Garrett? I mean, he's bearing down on you. And they do a nice job defensively. Watch this entire defense just kind of punch out up here. There's nowhere to go. There's absolutely nowhere to go. So they look like they're bringing pressure, and all of a sudden they punch out late. Really nice job by this group.
Believe it or not, with 6:33 remaining in the second quarter, in a 7-0 game, this is the first punt of the day. And it's blocked. Dom DeLuca What can't he do? The former walk-on, three-time captain. And you are watching a man living a dream.
He said, running out of the tunnel, it feels like a movie. I love this act.
You get 0 for being good on special teams.
Yeah, you do.
When the number 0 came into college football recently at Penn State, a new tradition was born for a special teams ace. It just so happens that the special teams ace is also a 3-time captain star linebacker, Dominic DeLuca. He just blocked the punt. And now Drew Aller is under pressure, and that is incomplete. He was getting hounded by Shamir Sterling. But we had a great time, as everybody I'm sure does, as talking to Dom DeLuca yesterday.
Well, he's the pride of northeastern Pennsylvania, out of the West Pittston area. Had a chance, ran into his parents pregame. His mom, Dee Dee, his dad, Carl, they were tailgating. They love coming here. Buses come here from the Scranton Wilkes-Barre area, about 2 hours away. He's so proud to be a Nittany Lion. This has been his dream since he first put on the pads.
Said his mom called this week, said, how about, can you get 10 or 12 more tickets? This Kyron Hudson. Kyron Hudson said he was watching SMU last year, Penn State, and said, who is 0?
Yeah, and then he learned about his path. The photo on the right is coming to camp. He's been coming to camps here at Penn State since he was a little kid. And then in high school he came. And then his parents gave me his trading card in pregame. How about that? Floating around here in Beaver Stadium. But look, as a former walk-on, you have this dream, right? A dream achieved. And then when we asked him yesterday, if I told you you were a 3-time captain, he said, no way. There's no way I would have thought that would be my reality. And it is with a punt block here in week 2.
3rd down here for Penn State. Aller can't connect. Aller is now 7 of 14, and it's 4th down. 7 of 14 throwing the ball.
And he's frustrated. He's frustrated. Look, there's something to playing quarterback where you got to be able to just kind of flush plays. And that's just a miss. He knows it. And you'll see his reaction. Oh, he knows. Ah, come on. And look, there's a phrase again. I keep giving you these quarterback phrases, guy. One is try easy. Just come on, try easy, man. Just cut it loose and let it rip, man. Try easy. And when you care so much, you pour so much in, it can be a challenge.
First punt of the year for Gabriel Wosu. And as long as the ball didn't break the plane, it's a down inside the 1, and it was down inside the 1. Davian Collins kept it out of the end zone. Well, he's been waiting a long time, Wosu has. He didn't punt last week, and he didn't punt earlier today. The player can touch the end zone, just the ball cannot break the plane. So it's okay that Collins' foot is in there.
Oh, that's a great shot.
How many blades of Kentucky bluegrass between the ball and the white line?
That is awesome. And I just go to the effort. I mean, what a job finishing there for him. You know, sometimes you see one teammate catch it, you can let up. Nope, doesn't happen. A beautiful job there from number 2.
The ruling on the field on the previous play was that the ball was down at the 2-yard line. The play is under further review.
Okay, so they're going to look to see if that ball breaks the plane. From what we've seen, it's going to be tough. The reason they moved it to the 2, where the defense first touches, sometimes you hear the phrase illegal touching.
Yep.
It's not a penalty, but it's just after that point the offense can pick it up if they want. So that's the spot. And then we'll see if this ball breaks the plane. Let's bring in our rules analyst with his magnifying glass, Mike Pereira.
You did a good job covering.
What do you think, Mike?
It's very close, and they're putting the ball at the 2-yard line because there's 2 spots of a touch violation. The first one was at the 2, and then this one here, so you get the one that's furthest up. I don't think that there's anything, unless they find an absolute down-the-line shot, to say that it actually hit the goal line very close. But to me, I'd uphold this and leave it as it is.
Okay, Mike, thank you very much.
Oh, my special teams coordinator, Justin Lustig. His units are having a heck of a
After
3 minutes.
reviewing the play, the ball was illegally touched at the 2-yard line, but downed outside the end zone. Therefore, the play is upheld. It is first down FIU from the 2-yard line.
Well, it's a great point, Yogi, right? The blocked punt and now the first punt of the year. This punt coverage unit hasn't had a chance this season yet to give it a shot.
It's a veteran-laden team, and you're seeing while they're struggling a little bit in the pass game, the other two phases have elevated, starting with special teams. Now you're backed up, and this stadium has come alive.
Handed off out of the backfield is Tajon Owens for a couple yards. Tick towards 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter, and it's a 7-0 score.
No Zane Durant on the field this drive.
James Franklin said they would have him on a little bit of a snap count, probably no more than 30, 35 plays for him on defense today. Jenkins, little miscommunication. His receiver was blocking Kyle McNeil, and that sails harmlessly incomplete.
What I'd imagine Jim Knowles is going to do here is keep an eye on Dennis Sutton. They know that FIU is going to try to double team him just to protect against the most aggressive, talented edge rusher in the building today. So they'll move him around to try to find a one-on-one matchup. That's where you've seen him today move nose tackle, defensive tackle, wide on the edge.
One of 5 on third down is FIU today. Jenkins gets it out, and a block but coming up to make the hit. Zachy Wheatley with the stop, and FIU is going to try and punt again.
Deny Dennis Sutton. He does a little bit of everything. I mean, his get off is absolutely ridiculous. It's like he
Penn State
times
player
up the
number
snap
5 will be wearing jersey 91 for the following play. Number 5 Penn State will be
the
wearing
very left
jersey
side
91.
of the screen. Watch him come off, guy, as the ball is snapped. It's like he knows the snap count, man. He gets off, and he is in the grill of Kewan Jenkins.
Devontae Ross back deep. This one gets away clean. Ross. Still on his feet, and great starting field position here for Penn State. Nice return. 16 yards for Ross, bring it back after the 47-yard punt from Trey Wilhoit.
How about deny Dennis Sutton? You think, all right, we're losing Micah Parsons, one of the top picks in the National Football League, and here deny Dennis Sutton says, I want to come on back. And he's been a game record through a game and a half. You add Abdul Carter, the draft pick from a year ago. Micah Parsons, of course, a name all over the National Football League after that trade. But here at Penn State, they just continue to develop and develop elite edge rushers.
Katron Allen. This has been a grindy game. Maybe didn't expect. I mean, the rain perhaps plays a factor. It rained all morning. I don't know if that's affected the passing game. You know, we mentioned as they went off, Drew Aller is 7 of 14. What's it like down there on the field, Red?
You know, field conditions have been fine. I haven't heard anybody coming off the field on either side complaining. But one thing to note, I mean, you know, FIU in South Florida, they're in Miami. This rainy season right now. They've been dealing with that afternoon rain. In fact, their offensive coordinator, Coach Coleman, was saying that a couple of their scrimmages have actually had some of that rain in it, so they felt well prepared today.
Second down here. And Allen with a yard. And it's third down.
Yeah, and right now for FIU, they're saying, throw the ball. We're daring you to throw the football. They want to stack the box. They want to put as many bodies near the line of scrimmage and slow down this run game and this athletic offensive line for Penn State. So here we go on this third down. I'd imagine you get some sort of pressure and a version of man coverage on the back end.
Penn State 2 of 6 on third down.
They go Wildcat
so far today, and it's Allen giving it to Singleton. Gets a block, another, but Pena and Clifford out there couldn't give him enough space, and now it's fourth down and about 3.
And I imagine you're thinking 4-down territory with that call. Instead of throwing it with Drew Aller, your All-American candidate at quarterback. decision time here for Penn State.
James Franklin looking up at the replay, looking up at the clock.
Probably going to take it. Yeah, they're going to take it to the 2-minute timeout.
Game clock lower than the play clock. Willie Simmons and his group have come in here ready to play. Very successful head coach at every other level. Now he and FIU are within 7. 2-minute timeout in a 7-point game. Coming up on the halftime show, sponsored by TIAA. Rick Pizzo, Jerry DiNardo, and Brock Farine will take you through the first half highlights and get you up to speed on a busy Saturday across the Big Ten. Some big games, Illinois and Iowa. Some big non-conference showdowns. Plus, of course, #1 Ohio State coming up next here on BTN. 4th down for Penn State. After the 2-minute timeout, Patron Allen is the back beside Aller, and they may be trying to get FIU to jump. Let's see. Play clock is now at 10. Hard count from Aller. We'll try another, and they snap it. And Aller throws complete. Luke Reynolds, first down and more. How about that sequence from the offense?
Yeah, really good patience. Drew Aller recognizing man coverage. Tyron Hudson taking his corner action levels down the field right in front of you there. Easy pitch and catch. Nice job. Get a little swag back for number 15.
And now a little tempo, and that's broken up. Good defense that time from Josiah McGrew. The previous play, Yogi, is Aller actually making changes, or is he trying to get the defense to think they're not going to snap it?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. You saw him the first time, you're thinking, okay, he's just trying to see if they can get him off sides. And oftentimes, Drew Aller, with his expertise, you see him going to his wristband. There'll be multiple plays that he's got to read through. So get to the line of scrimmage, see if you can get them to jump off. If not, look to the sideline, get the audible, relay that, see the coverage from the booth, and away we go for the first down.
And put a seed in Oregon's head for 21 days.
It's a little too early to think about that. Only 7-0.
Here's Pena. Spins, and a good tackle made by Ashton Levels.
I'll say this was all Shamir Sterling, number 22. It looks like Tyron Hudson has him blocked. He bounces off that, slows down Pena, and it gets cleaned up there by Levels. Look, there's this thing in football. Everybody knows, like in Florida, you don't shy away from competition. This team has not shied away from this stage. Majority of the starters from the state of Florida, most in South Florida, in the Miami area.
Play clock at 6. Aller pressured, stays up, and goes down. He got swallowed up in that pocket, and Penn State is going to need a timeout.
Charge timeout. FIU.
FIU takes the timeout.
30 seconds in length.
And now it's 4th down.
Yeah,
and
nice
they want
job.
some time to get the ball back.
Yeah, that's a nice job from Willie Simmons. You could argue really impressive by this defensive line. A twist up front, and this is all number 19 right in the middle there. Nice job on the defensive line. Aga Aloye, and he's just unblocked. Drew Aller tries to climb the pocket. It collapses on him. Nothing doing, doesn't force anything. Gets a 4th down, and I really enjoy the call from Willie Simmons, guy, because he's saying, James Franklin, that man is always trying to win the middle lane. Penn State's going to get the ball after the half. Can they steal a possession back? He calls the timeout, doesn't let the clock move.
41-yard attempt here for Ryan Barker. Riley Thompson is the holder. Captain Tyler Duzansky is the long snapper. And the kick is good. So Penn State comes away with points, and it's 10-0. 50 seconds and no timeouts now for FIU. Penn State will get the ball first in the second half. Still ahead. A great day of football continues. It's Ohio State. It's Jeremiah Smith. It's the #1 team in the nation taking on Grambling State. That is next on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app.
This is going to be fun. Saturday in college football, and to the point of this game and the point of the next game, and I'm sure that Ohio State staff is aware of what the score is here. You cannot let your foot off the gas at all, especially after that huge win last weekend. Caleb Downs leading the defense. Jeremiah Smith, looking forward to watching him this weekend as well after that incredible game against Texas. Some might call it an upset. I think preseason rankings are sometimes hard, especially when so many draft picks were on that field a year ago in the semifinals between Texas and Ohio State. Both reloaded. Ohio State's reloaded. Currently ranked the #1 team in America coming up next year on BTN.
Penn State will be there in Columbus on November 1st, a place they haven't won since 2011. Here's Wosu to kick it away. And a very dangerous returner, Saquon Jean-Pierre, is going to fair catch it. And let's go down to Rhett.
Just watching Drew Aller as he's come off these last 2 possessions before that last drive that ended in the sack, kind of didn't go straight for the iPad, when he came off and they didn't get the 4th down. Kind of just came off, sat down. Coach O'Brien was there with him, just kind of sitting there, and almost it was like a mental reset of sorts. And then they come out and, settled for the field goal there on that last drive. And boy, came off, just kind of kept the helmet on. And, there was a little bit of a head down kind of mentality here. Some frustration perhaps setting in, something I'm going to ask Coach Franklin about here at the half.
All right, Rhett, thank you. That is 50 seconds of game time away, and FIU trying to move quickly. There's Rojas able to make the tackle, keep the receiver in bounds. No timeouts for the Panthers.
I think here,
Charge timeout, Penn State, their first of the half. It will be 30 seconds in length.
timeout Penn State. And I think for Willie Simmons and this team, you got to be a little careful here. Like, you want to be aggressive. Also, you have had a heck of a half, right? You think about it. You got an 8-play drive, turnover on downs, 10-play drive, interception. Like, they've had success. And if you told Willie Simmons it's going to be 10-0 on the road at half, year 1, game 2, after playing Bethune-Cookman, I think you'd say, yeah, we'll take it. Give us a chance. And then to Rhett's point on the other side for James Franklin.
Thank you.
A huge part, we talked about it yesterday, is the psychology of being a head coach. And he says the thing that has allowed Penn State to sustain success over his tenure here is just by being so steady. So I think a big part of going to the locker room at halftime for Penn State is to not freak out, to not say, oh my God, what is happening here? Say, hey guys, settle in. We'll just stick with our process and continue and come out with some great juice in the second half, make a couple plays. And that's got to be the message to the team.
So 2 timeouts left for Penn State on defense. And Jenkins gets it out quickly to Devontae Lyons. And Penn State's going to take another timeout. We've already blocked a punt today.
Charge timeout, Penn State for the second of the half. It will be 30 seconds in length.
They blocked a punt today on this side of the field, on the plus side of the field.
I like strategy from James Franklin, just competing for every inch, saying, hey, we're going to try to get it again. We're trying to steal an extra possession here. Remember, last week they had a really impressive 2-minute drive prior to the end of the half where they scored. Maybe something on special teams to your point guy, but give your team, you've got the more talented roster. Give them more opportunities here. You get a stop here on 3rd down. It's going to be another timeout. You're going to get the ball back. About 30 ticks left.
Third down and 3 here for FIU. You have to keep this ball on the ground if you're the Panthers.
This is where I think you don't. I mean, I get that thought process. And they just had a late sub. And you see the official, see the iron cross in the middle.
Now
FIU with a late sub. Here comes a late sub. This is awesome. Here comes Chaz Coleman. He's going to tap one of his teammates, and then he's going to athletically jog off. The coaching staff saying, come on, get off, get off. But here's the play clock. I don't know if there's going to be enough time here.
They just got it off, and Penn State gets the stop, and now they'll take a timeout. How about the Malachi Williams pretending like he didn't know?
Timeout, Penn State. It will be 30 seconds in length.
And I should say pretending, but Malachi Williams is the guy they're going to sub for. He's 20. He's standing up there on the far edge. Watch this.
He's right there, guy.
No, there he's at 20 at the top. Now he goes, oh, it's me. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you're saying on defense. Yeah, I'm saying on offense. The wide receiver who comes on in. He comes in late from the sideline.
The Penn State, and you called it out, Yogi, their sideline jumped into action when they saw that late sub and said, let's get somebody out here.
Well, here's what happened. Samaje Demps seemed to come from the sideline. I think Willie Simmons is saying he wasn't on the sideline, but if you come from near your sideline, it still seems as though you are bringing a sub onto the field. So the officials, when they see that, and there's a muddied area on your sideline.
Jersey 91 for the following play. 5 will be wearing jersey 91.
They're going to put the iron cross up like they did.
And now whistles as that got snapped, but they'll re-snap that. Remember, the defense gets 3 seconds.
The ball was snapped before it was ready for play. Ball will be replaced and it'll be 4th down.
Defense gets about 3 seconds to initiate a substitution after the offense subs. And so that is time. You know, coaches will tell you what, Yogi, if you sub around 18 seconds, you are playing with fire as an offense. The dangerous Devontae Ross, he's had a couple of good returns, is back deep. Penn State's blocked the punt already today as well. Ross is going to have to clear out here. And the ball will come to a stop at the 35 with 26 seconds. Here's the substitution again.
Okay, watch what happens here at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, and there's the coaches. They're talking about the officials. I mean, it's relative chaos on the sideline because they see that Demps goes to the sideline. He comes on. Great job by the officiating crew guy of recognizing that, being able to see the entire width of the field.
And by the way, Yogi, that's Chaz Coleman and Malachi Williams, 2 freshmen operating for Penn State. You know, we loved what James Franklin told us. We need to have procedural excellence. As now they're trying to get down the field quickly, and that is complete out of bounds. Goes the tight end Luke Reynolds.
Yeah, and
procedural excellence is such a great way to describe it.
Yeah, and look, that happens in every phase of the game here on offense. Now you're trying to own from the end of your snap to the start of the next one. So 22 ticks left. This is all Drew Aller right here. He's got headset communication. Remember, that shuts off at 15 seconds on the play clock. He's getting little tips and reminders, reading off that wristband, see if they can get some positive momentum offensively heading into halftime.
Pena, the man that goes in motion. Allen, there's Hudson, middle of the field, is going to stop the clock for a first down, and they're out to the 50.
Now you got to go. Clock stops, 17 seconds, and this is where they've had success. Exactly a week ago, 2-minute drive. This is a drill they do every single day in practice, 2-minute drill.
Aller, Reynolds again, and again it's a first down, so the clock stops while they move the chains.
Huge part in the 2-minute offense. I think there's just holes down the seams. Keep an eye at the top of the screen. Trevor Pena.
They snap the ball as soon as the clock starts. Aller wants Hudson. Hudson could not make a one-handed catch.
Yeah,
he's done it before.
Yeah, and he kind of slowed down on the route. Late in the route, Hudson started to open up his hips, slow down a little bit. If he keeps going, maybe he can go catch that with 2 hands and open up his front shoulder.
So now here comes Ryan Barker for a long field goal attempt. His career long is 49 yards. This is 53. He tried a 53-yarder last year against Maryland. It was blocked, but it was 29 degrees with 18-mile-an-hour winds that day. And that gets blocked. And as long as Penn State doesn't go touch it, or they can touch it and put it down, the half is over. That was nearly perfect execution by Penn State, but FIU makes a play headed to the locker room.
That is the end of the first half. Timeout on the field.
The block. Special teams unit just siphoning through. That looked like 23. The freshman McGrew, Josiah McGrew, he's having a heck of a game, as is FIU.
Well, it hasn't been perfect, and they have found a way to get it done. The man that was known as Shotgun as a player for his big arm as a quarterback, and his team, they're playing well. Let's go down to Rhett with the head coach, James Franklin.
Coach, 4th down seems to have had such a huge impact on this first half, whether that be offense, defense, block punt, just had the block field goal. What have you seen from your team in those situations?
Yeah, well, we got to get first downs on 3rd down, so we're not in the 4th down situation in the first place. Been a little rusty. We'll get them cleaned up at halftime and come out and finish those drives off.
Seems like a little bit of frustration for your quarterback, Drew Aller there. He was coming off a couple of times. How do you get that unit rolling in the second?
Yeah, we just got to catch the ball. We got to throw a few more completions. We got to run the ball better. Really all of it. We'll get it cleaned up.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Red, we seem to have just about everything except for scoring in this first half. Penn State is going to get the ball first in the second. Coming up, the TIAA halftime report in Chicago after the break.
Perhaps a tad more snug in State College than we all expected. This Drew Aller to Khalil Dinkins touchdown, the only touchdown of the first half for Penn State. Nittany Lions lead FIU 10-0. Welcome inside the Big Ten Live halftime, presented by TIAA. Rick Pizzo, Brock Vereen, Jerry DiNardo. Conservative game plan offensively so far, Brock, for Penn State. Maybe the weather having a little bit of something to do with that, but as James Franklin told Rhett Lewis, we have to run it better. We have to throw it better. We have to execute better in every offensive phase.
Just about everything. And my eyes are on the offensive line. And the weather should be helping the offensive line because it slows down the pass rush that they're struggling mightily with. Now, you go back to last week, Nevada got after this Penn State offensive line. And I see the same thing now. I see confusion. I see miscommunication. I see free runners. And I see an uncomfortable Drew Aller. They're running the ball fine, but major issues in throwing the football.
You know, Brock, at practice, when we went there on the bus tour, they had 22 offensive linemen. They all could bend. I mean, they were really, really athletic. So I'm really surprised that they're playing as poorly as they are. But this team's the ranked second team in the country. They lack energy. The longest run is 20 yards. The longest pass is 14 yards. For the second-ranked team in the country, that can't be their offense. Until they get more explosive, they'll win today. But until this offense gets more explosive, they're not going to reach their goals.
From a positive standpoint, defense has been really good.
And that FIU quarterback, Kewan Jenkins, is a monster. He is a monster, and they're handling him, but certainly they want a little more from the other side of the football.
Yeah, the defense is playing well, Rick, but again, this is the same as we saw last year with the wide receivers. The three portal guys have only caught 5 passes. Between the three of them.
Yep, this is one of those games you're not supposed to win. You're supposed to dominate, of course. Let's slow the roll a little bit. 60-minute game. Obviously looking for a lot more from Penn State's offense in the second half. As for some other games currently taking place, well, it's a game because it's being played. It's not necessarily much of a contest. First play of the game for Minnesota against Northwestern State. John Nestor goes the other way with a pick six. Do not adjust your television screens. It is really 59-0 Gophers still in the first half. Illinois on the road to take on Duke. Late first quarter, Illini down 3-0. Caden Fagan. Illinois has done nothing running the football so far today, just 3 yards on the ground. But this touchdown, and Illinois just scored a moment ago. The Illini lead Duke on the road 14-6. Kirk Ferentz trying to pass Woody Hayes to become the winningest coach in Big Ten history, taking on Iowa State. Xavier Townsend muffs the punt here for the Cyclones. Iowa would recover and kick a field goal. Other than that, though, it's been all Iowa State as the Clones lead it 13-3 late in the first half. Indiana and Fernando Mendoza at home against Kennesaw State. IU up 7-0. It's Mendoza to Elijah Surratt. Never a bad idea. Mendoza's first touchdown pass as a Hoosier. It is 21-6. We have gone to the half in Bloomington. How about the big guy? Alonzo Ford coming up with a pick to help that Penn State defense. Offense needs to do its part. 10-0 Nittany Lions.
Big Ten Live Football Halftime is sponsored by TIAA, official retirement partner of the Big Ten.
Big Ten Live Football Halftime presented by TIAA. Rick Pizzo, Brock Vereen, Jerry DiNardo. We are thrilled to have the #1 team in the country coming up next here on the Big Ten Network. It'll be Ohio State taking on Grambling State, 3:30 Eastern times. Pair of games in that 7:30 Eastern window as Nebraska and Purdue each play at home. And for the second consecutive week, it'll be Washington as the Big Ten Network Saturday nightcap. Also for the second consecutive week, Ohio State inside the friendly confines of the horseshoe. But last week it was number 1, Texas. Grambling State not expected to put up that kind of challenge this week for the Buckeyes. So, Jerry, what do you look for in a game like this if you're Ryan Day and Ohio State?
I look for maturity, unforced errors. Are we on sides on offense? We're not jumping off. Are we jumping off sides on defense? Are we having substitution mistakes? All the things that are mature, concentrating on the game that you're playing. And I would think no explosive plays by Grambling, but explosive plays on Ohio State's side. They didn't have many last week.
No, they didn't. And for any Ohio State fan expecting Julian Sayin to right the wrongs of last week and throw the ball across the field for 500 yards, I would say just hold on a little bit, because establishing the run is going to be much more important. Even with 2 drops last week, is there anyone in the country that doesn't think Jeremiah Smith is not a great wide receiver? He's fine. They're fine. It is much more important to get James Peoples and C.J. Donaldson going.
Any concern, Jerry, from a coaching perspective that you come off such a monster win that your team is not dialed in from the jump? Not concerned about losing, but concerned that they don't play up to the level that they're capable of?
There's absolutely concern. And you have to look at it like it's a business trip and we're not going far for the trip. And we better have our heads into the game. And again, if we're jumping off sides, if we have substitution issues, then, Ryan's got to get the group together and say, hey, there's only one reason for this. Your head's not in the game. My guess is they're going to play really well.
And I know that you don't believe Julian Sayin's going to throw the ball all over the yard. I'm telling you right now, Jeremiah Smith, he's going to be open a lot on Saturday afternoon. And he's probably not very happy about dropping 2 of those balls last week. Expect a big game from the best wide receiver in the country. This is the TIAA halftime here on the Big Ten Network. Unbelievable volleyball tripleheader coming your way on Sunday. Ohio State starts things off against number 12 Florida. Top-ranked team in the country, Nebraska, faces Cal. And then it is ranked versus ranked as USC takes on Creighton. That's Big Ten volleyball coming your way Sunday. Start time, noon Eastern, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. That'll do it for the Big Ten Live halftime presented by TIAA. Back to your game right after this.
Time for today's Big Impact Research, where Penn State College of Earth and Mineral Sciences professor John Morrow and a team of students and researchers have invented a new type of glass. Lion glass is thinner yet more durable and requires only half the energy it takes to produce standard glass. The team is working to bring this product to market as Lion glass sets a new standard for sustainability and brings potential for commercial use. A little rain earlier today. Things cleared up just before kickoff, about 20 minutes before kickoff. The field's dried out, and a great crowd here today. And they've maybe seen a little more than they expected from the road team. FIU coming in from South Florida, and they have not scored, but they have largely held Penn State out of the end zone. You take a look at today's QB comparison brought to you by Eckridge.
Let's make no mistake about it, Penn State offensively has not played to the standard of efficiency that we've become accustomed to, what we expected in week 2 of the season. So how does Drew Aller bounce back? James Franklin prides his program on being really steady, uncommonly consistent. What was the message? We'll find out here on this opening drive in the 3rd quarter.
King Mack gets his first return of the day. Had a big one last week against Nevada, but he gets tripped up. And let's go down to Rhett Lewis.
Just had a chance to chat with FIU head coach Willie Simmons coming back out onto the field. Really encouraged by the defensive efforts of his guys here, especially on 4th down. Being able to get off the field a couple of times, force that field goal opportunity, which they ended up blocking with some positive momentum to go back into the locker room at the break. And then offensively, they want to protect Lights right at quarterback, but man, he said they got to make the layups. There are plays to be made out here. We got to maximize those opportunities.
First snap of the second half is Katron Allen picking up a first down at 15 yards.
Yeah. Well, and to Rhett's point, for FIU, turnovers, penalties, struggled on 3rd and 4th down, and then you flip it to Penn State. 4 of 12 on 3rd and 4th down, not necessarily ahead of the sticks for the majority of that first half. A nice way to start right there. Just kind of line up and run it. Find the edges. See if you can find a crease like they did in the 1st quarter.
Katron Allen almost 6 yards per carry in the game.
Nicholas Singleton just over 6 yards per carry in the game. The two of them have combined today for 19 rushes. Saw the first half numbers from Allard. That has been maybe his most favorite target today. Luke Reynolds with the reception. That's his 5th catch. He leads all Penn State pass catchers.
I'll be curious to see what adjustments Jovan DeWitt does, the defense coordinator of FIU, in terms of, you saw in the first half, often guy, the members of the secondary, nickel defender playing off coverage, just like you saw in that snap. Did they try to disrupt the timing of Drew Allard, knowing they didn't have an incredibly efficient first half?
Heard what James Franklin said to Red before the half. If we're going to get stopped on 4th down, let's get first downs before 4th down, and they do here. 10 points in the first half. Now that is very unusual given the circumstances. You know, they've been so good at home in non-conference games. It's the fewest first half points scored in a non-conference home game since 2019 against Pitt.
A huge part of Drew Allard's growth this offseason was sitting down with Danny O'Brien, the quarterback's coach. They watched a lot of Josh Allen. They watched good, they watched bad, they watched turnovers, they watched negative plays, positive drives, negative drives. But at the end of the day, when the film ended, it ended on a slide, and it said MVP of the National Football League.
Allard too high for Dinkins behind him, and it's incomplete.
Guys, you also remember what FIU head coach Willie Simmons told us about Drew Allard. First words out of his mouth were, I can't help but watch him and think of Josh Allen, right? Think of Drew Allard, that big physical frame, the strong arm. He's got some wiggle, too, with his game. Wonder if we might see him pull it down a little bit here as this offense has kind of struggled a little bit to find some rhythm in the pass game.
Yeah, you got to get some help. Dinkins had a drop in the first half. It is not raining, it is not wet. You got to just make those plays. You got to help your quarterback out down the seam.
Second down. Allard pulls that to Kyron Hudson. 4th catch today for Hudson, who fights forward. Of course, the compliment from Willie Simmons. That's a quarterback. I mean, you know, he has been in some quarterback situations, not just in his time at Clemson, but the Manning Passing Academy. He was there with Rhett, who was down on the field as a receiver, with the Mannings and Phillip Rivers, and he loves talking quarterback, and it was fun to talk to him about it this week. He had so much success as a head coach at the HBCU level, then last year was the running backs coach at Duke with Manny Diaz, and now takes over year 1 of FIU with a really impressive history of success. Trying to get a 3rd down stop here. Allard. And there is Reynolds. Boy, he has had the sticky fingers today. That was on his back shoulder. He squeezed it. A pickup of 7.
Tell you what, in this first drive, and as they kind of hustle the line of scrimmage here, little tempo, it has been 3-step drop, get the ball out for Drew Allard.
Another quick one. Hudson behind him, and he helps out and brings it down.
And look, every quarterback, they're going to find a little bit of a slump at times. Nobody cares more than that individual within the facility. He's the face of this program, and they're finding a nice little rhythm here for Drew Allard.
Back to Singleton for the first. They're not sniffing 4th downs on this drive.
No. Well, the run game is a big part of it, and I think you're seeing them kind of line up and go for the majority of this drive. Drew Allard being able to assess the defense. Is there some free access, easy throws outside? Right there's another one.
Reynolds, another catch.
What I mean by that, guy, is when members of the secondary are off, like Victor Evans, number 4, was at the top of the screen, it's an easier read for the quarterback because you don't have to evaluate the coverage. Haven't seen a ton of disguise coverage-wise from FIU today. And for Drew Allard on this drive, he seems to be seeing the coverage, the rotation extremely clean.
7 receptions for Luke Reynolds.
Out of the pistol, they love to run the ball right here. Downhill, give a 2-way go to their back.
Katron Allen. And he gets hog tied for a moment, and he's able to just spin forward, get a couple. Somebody had around the ankles, then up around the shoulders as well.
Yeah, and to Rhett's point, when you line up in the pistol there, you give the running back a 2-way go. The linebackers really can't read a key and go. They have to pause and hesitate. So be curious to see if we see that formation again down here in the red zone. Drew Allard potentially keep it because it's been there a few times.
3rd down and 4. 11th play of this drive to open the second half. Aller and Pena can't connect. Incomplete. That was broken up by Mr. Clark. Pena has one catch today after that great debut last week.
And it felt like Pena was running a slant. You got to really try to cross the face of the DB, and just a competitive play. Oh, that's a really nice job across the board.
Now it's 4th down, and here comes the field goal team. Ryan Barker on for the 34-yard attempt. His only other try today, or his only miss today, came before the half. It was a block of a 53-yard try. And that is perfect. So strong drive for Penn State to start the second half results in a field goal. 13-0. Penn State after a field goal to start the second half from the Nittany Lions, #2 team in the country. You take a look at that scoring drive, sponsored by Marathon.
I thought it was a really nice job from Andy Kotelnicki. Run the ball, stay ahead of the sticks. Aller goes 5 of 7 with the drop. Still don't convert there late on the slant to Pena. So they're talking about that one on the sideline, but they come away with points.
This will be a touchback. Saquon Jean-Pierre still has not had a return. Take a look back at some of the big plays for Penn State in the first half.
Well, this was a huge play, right? Big play, Alonzo Ford, the interception. FIU was kind of rolling. It was a pretty impressive drive, 10-play drive at the time. And then the sudden change. That man, Dominic DeLuca, 3-time captain, Northeastern Pennsylvania legend, makes his presence felt. And there's Drew Aller. Look, he had a first half that I'm sure he was told, hey, just flush it, just move on. And that was the point of his conversation this offseason with his quarterback coach, Coach Danny O'Brien. The best one, just got to move on. You can't hang on to it. You got to let it go, flush it, and move on to the next snap. And here for Keywan Jenkins, he's probably feeling pretty good, as is FIU. They came into this game just to reset it. They didn't think it was, let's just keep it close. They felt, we talked to them earlier this week, they had a chance to come in here and shock the world, and they're within striking distance.
We had some good drives, but no points. Keyshawn Owens, the running back, running hard. And this will bring up 3rd down and short, very short. Had a 10-play drive that ended in that interception from Alonzo Ford. Maybe you mentioned it, the 8-play drive before. 4th down conversions. Some big gains, but you see here 1 of 7 on 3rd down today.
A huge part is you can't identify where Penn State is going to line up on this defensive front.
McNeil in motion. Owens the back. 1st down, and Owens into space, and Wheatley saves perhaps a touchdown. That's a pick up of 16.
How about the patience from Keyshawn Owens? Nice job by him. There's so many people at the line of scrimmage for Penn State. They bring a little bit of pressure. He waits, gives it a beat, 1 cut, and there is nobody there. As FIU goes, hurry up, takes a shot.
Jenkins going downfield for McNeil, and he can't get it. Wheatley, who just saved the touchdown in coverage.
What a play by Zachy Wheatley. I mean, this looks like an explosive play all day. Watch the hands of Wheatley. Go to the hands. That's as good as it gets. McNeil with a great corner route, but Wheatley with a better play at the end.
You heard about the stat in baseball, wins above replacement. That's 2 touchdowns that Wheatley just saved 14 points.
He's coached by one of the best in Terry Smith.
Oh, Dennis Sutton right there for the stuff. Now let's look back at the Wheatley PBU.
Yeah, this is really impressive. You're taught as a DB, when you see the hands of the wideout go up, that's when you shoot your hands to theirs. I mean, that's as good as it gets. Now, it helps that he's got long arms and a wingspan as a dynamic player at 6'2" that you reference, guy. But timing, what a play to set up
a third down, and it might be 4 down territory for FIU. I just try to get half here and see if I can go for it again.
Crowd picking it up. Jenkins flicks it out to Owens. Tonight Dennis Sutton's going to come help him out after a pickup of 3 yards. See why the offensive coordinator Nick Coleman told us wherever he goes in the Miami area, people ask him, how's Kiwan? He's a Park League legend around Miami, a little Park League here.
Yeah, keep an eye right here. This is that 3 safety look you've heard so much from Jim Knowles about. That is that man, Zach Wheatley. He's that version for Penn State that Caleb Downs was for Ohio State this year. And to me, when Jenkins saw that, he said, oh, what is this look? What's he going to be? So you hang on to the ball a little bit longer.
Wilhoit on to punt. Devontae Ross will take it at the 11-yard line, maybe the 12. Penn State's offense coming back out. So James Franklin has said that he was really excited after last season to get Nicholas Singleton or Katron Allen back. He didn't think he'd get both. You look at 1,000-yard rushing duos to return in Power Conference football since 2000. This is only the 5th time it's happened.
Yeah, what a unicorn type situation. And so much of that is the advent of the new era of college football. And I think also you're selling it to recruits because as they go to the NFL next year, their bodies are going to be taken care of. They carry their whole career.
This is Singleton, and it's not going to cost them in the record books. They have a chance to end up number 1 and number 2 all time on the rushing list here at Penn State.
And that's what's most impressive about this entire thing. Look at the most active players, career rushing yards. But what they've done here at Penn State as running backs, I mean, this list of elite backs is really long and extremely prestigious. And these two will be on it for the rest of their lives.
Both around 1,000 yards each, shy of the top of the list right now, which is Evan Royster, who's just over 3,900 yards. Trevor Pena, his first big play of the game is a big one, out to the 44.
Another full field throw from Drew Adler. And look, it wasn't a great first half, but he hasn't flinched as they go up tempo again. You'll see this from his left all the way to the right. The play and then the yak, something this receiving core has lacked the last couple seasons.
The catch for Pena was a 30-yard reception. It's the longest play of the game for either team.
Big point of emphasis for Penn State was trying to generate explosive plays. You know, turnovers and explosive all of a sudden.
Singleton sprinting through for a first.
And now here comes the complementary element of Penn State. You got fresh legs at running back that we just referenced in these two backs. You got a quarterback that is finding a little bit of rhythm here in the first drive and a half here in the third quarter. And an offensive line that's being able to move the line of scrimmage. First half, it was hit or miss. Defensive front really active for FIU. You wonder, are they going to wear down as this game goes on?
Mallory under center with a couple of tight ends in the game. With time, great pocket. Spiral, Ross, flag, he caught it! How did he catch it? Touchdown, Penn State!
Pass interference. Defense number 1. That penalty has been declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
It's a two-man route. And all day long, Allen saying, I'm taking a shot to Ross on top of the DB. Well thrown, better catch. He and Ashton Levels battling, one-hander all day long.
But really?
Yeah, let's take a look.
How did he catch it?
I know.
And they're going for 2. Couple of tight ends. Hudson is the receiver along with Pena. Aller, throwback. This is Drew Shelton! And he's in for the 2-point conversion. There is a flag down on the field.
Holding. Offense number 53. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the try.
The first penalty of the game against Penn State. Are you kidding me? I think is what he just said. Drew Shelton. The penalty's on Nick Dawkins, the center. And so now the kicking team will come on to kick the extra point. Let's see.
53. Yeah, and it's kind of his arms outside. I didn't see necessarily a grab, but anytime there's going to be arms outside of the defender, as you saw with Dawkins, it's going to get called. But I think Shelton kept the ball. I think he was like, I'm keeping this one. Yeah. Because to me, I still scored. I still got 2.
Deserved. Barker. Got it. So it's a 20-0 game. This is somehow only worth 6 right here.
Well, just like you drew it up. And how about that body language? Pretty good for number 15.
.444 remaining in the third quarter at one of the most iconic places in all of sports. Tomorrow, volleyball tripleheader comes your way as Ohio State hosts Florida. Top-ranked Nebraska clashes with Cal, and USC takes on Creighton. Live coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. This offense has been jump-started here in the second half for Penn State. Gabriel Wosu to kick away. And that ball goes out of bounds. It's a penalty, and it'll come out to the 35.
Kickoff out of bounds. Kicking team, number 99. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down, FIU.
A big part of this play was Kyron Hudson. He's going to take the little over route, and that's going to allow Ross to run that skinny post, and Drew Aller sees it all day long. You'll see Hudson cross the field. He takes the safety. Aller saying, oh, I'm taking this shot. And I know not only was Drew Aller and Devontae Ross fired up, but I know, Rhett, you were fired up as well down there on the field, man.
Week had just one catch, right? And that was an emphasis for James Franklin. You said they wanted to get him the ball more, but it wasn't an issue for Ross. Talking to Marcus Hagans, the wide receivers coach, before the game, it was like, we're so connected in this wide receiver room that those kind of things aren't issues. Our guys want to get touches, not just for themselves, but they want to get touches to help the team win. And then on the Aller part of that, that was not a clear win on the route from Ross, but how about the trust that he's built in a relatively short amount of time to say, I'm going to let my guy go make a play right there, and obviously was paid off for it.
Yeah, it's a really impressive point, Rick, especially when you think of Aller's first half. You talked about his body language on the sideline. It wasn't great, frustrated. That happens at that position, able to flush at halftime, come out. Starts off 7 of 9 with a drop. They call it 8 of 9, and to your point, drops a dime for a touchdown to Ross.
Second down and 8 here for FIU. Good run by Carey, and that'll make it third down and about 2. The second half has really flipped for the offense. You know, look, I mean, last year there was such a clear number 1 in the passing game for Penn State, Tyler Warren. And now it's a different challenge. Like, how do we get everybody involved? And you can tell at least these first 2 weeks they're making an effort. Luke Reynolds had a good day today. Pena, he's kind of having the Ross game, the one that Ross had last week. But he had a big play on the previous drive. Here's third down and 2. Jenkins tries to exit the pocket, and there are no doors. And that was fourth down.
Jenkins is just trying anything, but there's such an aggressive pass rush. I mean, it's relentless. It's absolutely relentless, coming off the edge from every which way. It's first Jalen Harvey, and then came DeLuca, and then, of course, 33 denied Dennis Sutton. I mean, they just come at you with this front 7.
First of the half. It will be 30 seconds of
They
playing.
come at you in waves, and not many teams around the country can say that. One of them is playing on the Big Ten Network after us today in Ohio State, but there's very few, especially when you're talking about a defensive front. We have seen 13 different defensive lines throughout today in terms of where guys have aligned. Interior, on an edge, moving to Nittany to the nose tackle, over a guard. And we're tracking this up here, and it's a lot of different players we have seen make plays, and of course having Zariah Fisher back is a
He's reset the game clock to 2:47.
Yogi, that moving around of a marquee player has been a hallmark of Jim Knowles' defense. Even going back to the Oklahoma State days there, they had Colin Oliver, who had 11.5 sacks as a freshman, moving him around. They did it a little bit at Ohio State with Jack Sawyer. It is a bear for offenses to deal with. Just talking to some opposing coaches who have dealt with Jim Knowles' defenses in the past, they're like, the way that they can move around a marquee player and still get that high-level production is very difficult to deal with.
FIU uses the timeout to take the offense back on the field, to put the offense back on the field. Jenkins gets it out quickly. 4th down, and diving for the first is Anthony Carey.
I like the decision of saying, where are we going to punt it? No, we are going to go for it. I think that's got to be the game plan here for FIU moving forward. Nice job getting the ball out. Let's see if they can take another quick strike. See if you can. First half they had a couple shots down the field, even intermediate shots, but you got to get some chunk plays, some explosive plays.
Jenkins is going to give it, and right in the hole, Carey is met. Dom DeLuca right in there, along with Alonzo Ford. Back to, just to circle back to the point Rhett was making, Yogi. Jim Knowles, his last 4 seasons coming into this year. So last 3 at Ohio State, Oklahoma State, in the year before that. In those 4 years, his defenses are number 2 in the nation in defense. Number 2. Now he's in his 3rd different place. And, what are the odds? The odds are pretty good that this is going to be one of the best defenses in the country.
And you don't have to flip the defense, right? I mean, the standard has been set here for a long time.
Well, you thought Owens, and so did I. He almost broke that one. A flag comes in. The result of the play is a 3-yard pickup. And, let's check out the penalty.
Holding. Offense number 65. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. 2nd down.
Guys, I thought it was pretty impactful listening to Jim Knowles talk about what this job means to him. Obviously, a Pennsylvania kid. Can't let that get in the way of the importance of this job this year. This is the best group of players, the best personnel he has had coming into a new program in the last couple of spots here. He really feels the weight of that. And also mentioned, as you guys remember, that he feels like this unit is as far along in an early first season as he's ever had.
After the penalty, 2nd down. Jenkins has it knocked away. Chaz Coleman came from stage left. Where did he come from?
Well, to me, this is such an effort play for Chaz Coleman. This is a guy who was a quarterback at times in high school. He's a hooper. He's twitchy. We got to see him after practice yesterday, and you see the length. Look at the effort. And at the last minute, it's his left fingertip gets a hand on it. And if that's not a sign of the effort of this defense under Jim Knowles, I don't know what is.
Meanwhile, Jenkins going back, left-hander going across the field the other way.
Some sort of screen here.
Play clock low. They get it off. Jenkins gets it out. Somehow Carey caught it, but then it gets cleaned up after a short gain by Amari Campbell, one of the new linebackers that transferred from North Carolina.
They're the best defensive linemen. They have the ability to not just put their hand in the dirt like Dennis Sutton did, but peek up at the play clock. He timed up that 2-1. He got off. And to your point, Jenkins just found a way to get the ball out.
Zariah Fisher has been rotating in a lot on defense today in his first action since the 2023 bowl game. Will Hoyt back out to punt. Devontae Ross, who has a big touchdown today on offense, is back deep to receive a high hanging punt. And he fair catches 43-yard move. Drew Aller just threw a gorgeous touchdown pass the last time we saw him. We'll see what the senior has in store next. Beaver Stadium under an ongoing refurbishment, renovation that won't conclude until 2027, but it has not affected the capacity of just over 106,000, in part because of those bleachers you see on the right side there. And you see a refurbishment of Drew Aller's game in the third quarter.
Well, he's seen so much football. We've talked about this many times. To be an elite player at that position, you got to have scars. I mean, you have to have gone through things. He's done that, and Penn State fans know that. Whether you want to highlight games against Ohio State and Michigan early in his career, last year in the playoff game, like he's had to navigate things, and I think he's got a resolve to him that is extremely bespoke at this position when you look around the country. And it's really price of admission. If you want to be a big-time quarterback, you've got to have that.
Hard count for him at the end of the quarter. And Penn State will wait for the fourth for this second down. It took a little while to get things going, but once the offense got rolling, we saw a beautiful drive from the Nittany Lions. So this was part of the beginning. It's just fun to just watch that. I mean, that's always good footage. Bringing down part of Beaver Stadium, and the work started immediately. Crews working around the clock to get going in the offseason. And they've worked to maintain a pace of work while also making this place playable for football, not just for this year and next, to be ready in 2027. Let's go to the studio. Ashley Adamson with an Anderson Windows studio update.
And Guy will take you to Durham. Let's check in on number 11 Illinois at Duke. Luke Altmaier to Justin Bowick. A 4-yard strike makes it 21-13 Illinois in the third, guys.
All right, Ash, thank you. That's a game, Yogi, that there's so many games out of the league that are important today, and that's a big one. Illinois is a team that, when you think about maybe a group that could challenge as Aller gets sacked and goes down, Johnny Chaney Jr. But where does Illinois fit into that kind of championship race in this league, you think?
Well, after being there in training camp, while there's a lot of hype outside of that facility, you go there and the field's real. It really does. It's a veteran-laden group. They return so many starters at key positions, whether it's coming off the edge. Gabe Akers was just unstoppable in week 1. Looking forward to watching the tape and see what he's done down in week 2 against Duke. Their offensive line is legit. The quarterback's played a ton of snaps. Brett Bielema just knows how to steady the ship. So I think they are a real threat in this league and in the college football playoff.
After Penn State's offense had really jump-started in the second half, a punt, and it's a booming punt from Wosu, and then Saquon Jean-Pierre will bring it down, but an absolute banger from the 6'6", 297-pound punter. You want to guess how many yards that was? 72.
Vertical, or I mean,
72-yard punt. Oh.
It's a good thing when you don't punt in a game, but when you get to and you do this, special teams coordinator Justin Lustig again did some impressive plays for his outfit, and how about that, man? And I'll go to like the development of this program, guy. I mean, he's just continued to develop that leg, his style. He's so consistent. As Coach Franklin said, his A-ball is really good. I'd say that one was really good too.
Jenkins hands it off, and that is snuffed out immediately. Chaz Coleman's having a real good game.
Yeah, he's blossoming before our very eyes. He gets to go to practice on Friday here at State College, and 2 players stayed really late. You know who they were? One was Nittany Dennis Sutton. I'll give you a guess. The other one? That man right there.
Chaz Coleman?
Yeah, Chaz Coleman. And they're working hands. They're working the little things that allow the nuance of that position to have tremendous success. And we've seen his growth. I think it'll just continue to grow as the year goes on.
He and Nittany Dennis Sutton flip sides and come after the quarterback. And they both nearly get there.
And Nittany White does.
How about this? Trades with Dennis Sutton, and then coming off the edge, just force, velocity. And it wasn't Zane Durant, and it wasn't Dennis Sutton, it was the other two. And you have this type of complementary play, two twists on each side of the defensive line. Look out, you're gonna wreak a little bit of havoc.
They feel like they found a home inside for Nittany White on this defensive line.
And they're gonna add, they think, 8 to 10 more pounds to him throughout this season. Imagine that opposing offensive fronts.
Play clock is low, and they're going to need a timeout. As the play clock hit 0 in front of the students, Kewan Jenkins took the timeout.
Charge timeout
before
FIU.
3rd and
Their second of the
22.
half.
That's what's coming up for the Panthers.
30 seconds in length.
Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance. You're seeing some renderings of the West Side Revitalization Project, which is going to make this world-class facility even more world-class. Meanwhile, 3rd and 22 for FIU after their timeout. And a nice run here by Devontae Lyons. And he finally gets lioned like on a hyena's back, but that was a really good run for him to create some space. 11 yards on that pickup. Just give his punter some breathing room. Whoa.
Extracurricular. Said, I get the score 20-0. Here we are, about 11 minutes left in the ball game. But FIU has
Penn State player number 5 is wearing jersey 91. 5 is wearing 91 for Penn State.
Just hope you keep it clean here.
Penn State just punted from its 15, basically. And because it was a 72-yard punt, they had a sack. Now FIU's punting from its 50. And Devontae Ross is going to let that one go. Everybody clears out. And good starting field position for the Nittany Lions offense. The Dr. Pepper tuition giveaway is back, helping students chase their dreams. Enter before September 30th at the QR code below. Now you see the bleachers, about 8,000 bleacher seats that have been brought in this year to keep capacity where it belongs.
There's the movement on the offensive line. Extra lineman in the ballgame.
Drew Allen. Looking back the other way and just flicks it out of bounds. He had Singleton in the area, and it's 2nd down. Villanova comes in here next week with a bus of DeLucas as well. As we talked to Dom DeLuca. And then Penn State has a bye before they have the whiteout game against the Oregon Ducks. It'll be Oregon's first trip here since 1964. Their one and only trip here to Beaver Stadium.
Last week we saw so many of the backups play late in the ball game in the 4th quarter. I think this is good for Drew Aller and company to get this type of burn here.
Aller looking to the back shoulder, and it is broken up and nearly intercepted. It was out of bounds. Good defense there by Websley Etienne.
Ruling on the field is incomplete pass. 3rd down.
And we've seen some competitiveness at the catch. You're thinking this is a grab. Etienne says no way, fighting through the ball. I mean, it's just such a well-coached outfit at FIU in terms of the fundamentals. We've seen it. Same deal on Penn State. We saw that a couple drives ago. The deep ball, beautiful play down the field to the hands of the wideout.
Now it's 3rd and 10.
The ruling on the field on the previous play was incomplete pass. That ruling is under further review.
I didn't think that he had firm control of that. Inbounds.
Well, I guess the first question is, did Luke Reynolds catch it?
Right.
And then have it fumble out of bounds. And then the second question is,
well, if it was interception, they're out of bounds. That was, I thought, pretty easy to see. The question is, for Luke Reynolds, to your point, is it a catch?
Or is there a possession by the defender? Clearly not. He's well out of bounds there.
Is it clear and obvious that he has the catch? That's what they're looking in the replay booth back in Rosemont. I don't think so.
No, you gotta have the time to make a football move after the possession. That I don't think that occurs here, Yogi.
And I also don't think Etienne clearly has possession for a turnover in bounds.
I mean, you know, as we're watching it from that angle, Reynolds has 2 feet down here. And then this left foot steps. Does he have possession right there?
I don't think his right heel's out of bounds.
No, but I'm just asking, does Reynolds have possession when he kind of takes that 3rd step?
I didn't think
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field of incomplete pass is upheld. 3rd down.
All right. Which we agree with.
We do.
So now it's 3rd down and 10. These games, James Franklin made it clear, these are important games because we got a lot of vets, we got a lot of young guys, and they're not allowed to be young week 4.
That's right.
And so these are critical possessions as he views it. 3rd down and 10 for Allen. And that gets batted incomplete. Knocked away by Kenton Simmons.
I give an assist to Ashton Levels, the corner lined up against Devontae Ross. Aller wants to throw another out route. We've seen these full field throws all game long as well as in week 1. You see him looking to his right, nothing there. And then there's a twist. Ball batted down. Nice job by the defense. Just the effort is really impressive today. Get another opportunity. It's still a 3-score game.
Well, Jean-Pierre is a very dynamic returner, but he hasn't really had a chance to get off one today. And he gets brought down after a short return out to the 17-yard line.
Timeout on the field.
Time now for the T-Mobile trivia question. The last time Penn State was ranked number 2 in the AP poll was 2017. What year were the Nittany Lions last ranked number 1? All right, chew on that. What do you think, Joe?
Well, I go back to my childhood. I can remember watching Kadrona Carter and company, just a special team there. But that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago, guy.
8-yard pickup there for the run game, which is stayed strong. You can give credit to these backs have run hard today. That's Devontae Lyons. I think that's a pretty good. I think it's a pretty good pull, Yogs.
I'm thinking of like a 13-year-old self here, 1994.
Okay. Jenkins with time. And let's see. Yogi says 94. I'm going to go a little more recent.
Yeah, I don't blame
97.
Okay. Oh. Nice. Well done.
But I would love if we have any photos of you as Kadrona Carter in the backyard. I'd love to see it.
Totally. Joe Juravicius.
Oh.
Got to meet his daughter yesterday.
Amazing
Class.
class.
We got to teach a class here at Penn State, which we guest lecture at. They're a really cool group of students that are aspiring to be broadcasters and storytellers.
And what did you tell Joe Juravicius' daughter in class yesterday?
I said, you know what, I used to idolize your dad growing up. I tried to meet him in the backyard.
FIU takes the time out here with the play clock low.
3rd and final charge time out of the half. FIU. It will be 30 seconds in length.
Well, you don't have to wait long to see a number 1 team. They are coming up next. Ohio State.
Cannot wait. Jeremiah Smith, Julian Sand, this defense, Caleb Downs. The biggest question when a team has won a national championship and they try to continue that going is how can you navigate every week as its own week? And that is a challenge. And the leadership group at Ohio State in the offseason they talked about that a lot. They wanted to not have a ton of fanfare from last year up in the facility so they could focus and leave their own mark. Step 2 for them is later on today, and for Penn State, after today, they got step 3, Villanova. You referenced the bye, and then here come the Ducks. You got a feeling the whiteout's gonna be electric. Just got to go back and look at that Big Ten championship game we were at, partner. That was pretty special.
What a game that was. With Oregon winning it and winning the league. 3rd down and 2 after the timeout. FIU has none left. And Dom DeLuca creates a brick wall. We'll check on the spot here, but that looks short.
Yeah, he and Amari Campbell. It's cool seeing those two in at the same time. As college football fans know, last year they allowed communication from coaches to players' headset. You have a green dot. Those two are the green dot players for Penn State defense. When both are on the field, Dom DeLuca's going to wear a different helmet. And here we go. Willie Simmons, 4th down. Clearly going to go for it here.
FIU 2 of 3 on 4th down today. This game was 10-0 at the break. Keyshawn Owens has the first.
He's going to be a problem in their league. He's a talented back. His patience, his ability to be a one-cut runner. You add in the duo with the run-pass option game. That was a big point of emphasis for this Penn State defense, of watching Willie Simmons tape in the pass wherever he has been, watching Keyshawn Jenkins, and of course their first game of the season against Bethune-Cookman last Friday night. I think Penn State's done a nice job. I haven't seen a lot of those RPOs, especially those longer ones down the field, not just quick game, run pass option, quick slants. FIU wants to get down the field a little bit, have not done that much today.
Jenkins, end around to JoJo Stone. And he's out to about the 35-yard line. And it's time for a studio update.
Guy, Illinois has just 28 rushing yards at Duke, and 25 of them came on this direct snap to Hank Beatty, the wide receiver and former high school quarterback, is in the end zone. He's also got 100 receiving yards, Illini by 15.
Well, that's great news.
Big statement on the road if they can get that one done. Curious to see Michigan on the road later on against John Mateer in Oklahoma. That's a huge game. Coach Sharon Moore, it's his alma mater.
Another strong carry for Owens and another first down for FIU, pickup of 8 yards.
So last week Penn State played 73 players, and to go on the run that Penn State and their fans believe they can go on this year, right? Everybody came back mission-minded, unfinished business. You're going to play a lot of guys, and you got to have a lot of depth. They've played a lot of bodies, and I think it's going to bode well as the season progresses. The secondary is so deep, guy. I mean, there's so much talent there.
Jenkins on the run. And he connects with Eric Nelson.
Guys, it was clear to head coach Willie Simmons that priority one was keeping QB1 in South Florida. Keyshawn Jenkins was in the transfer portal when Willie got hired. So he took Keyshawn and Keyshawn's dad out to the Rusty Pelican down in South Florida for dinner just to talk through things. Keyshawn ordered a Caesar salad, which goes for $16. Dad ordered a tomahawk ribeye, 42-ounce prime cut bone in, goes for $160. Willie didn't feel comfortable putting that on the old expense report, but it will be money well spent, I would imagine, once they get into conference play with this offense. It's going to have better days.
Oh, Rhett, who's not afraid to put a hole in the per diem. Love that story.
Better believe it. Guy, you'll have to explain to Yogi what that tomahawk ribeye tastes like.
Not sure there.
A good night's sleep, I think.
No doubt.
But we had a lot of fun talking to Willie Simmons and his staff this week. And we said it earlier, but 3 years at Prairie View A&M, 6 at Florida A&M. And all he did was win. He won an HBCU national championship. Here's Owens on 3rd down, and he skips through a couple of holes for the first. Great run. And Willie Simmons and Rhett Lewis go way back to the 2003 Manning Passing Academy. There's Willie, sleeveless, and there's Rhett.
Rocked up.
Yeah.
You know, That was right after the quarterback wide receiver showcase for all the college players that day. I was the only receiver there, so I was catching passes from all these guys, or trying to rather. Caught my little hitch route to open the day from Peyton Manning, but Willie had an absolute hose, and that was a little too hot for me to handle. Drop that one.
First down here. Jenkins. And he'll just flick it away. That photo also has the Manning brothers in it, Phillip Rivers in it. I think Luke Heward, right, is in that photo.
Guys, you know what I just discovered? You know who a camper was in that year of the Manning Passing Academy?
Who?
Offensive coordinator Nick Coleman.
No.
He was there. Yeah, he was very complimentary of some of my wide receiver drills.
Oh, yeah, he's got the tape for sure. Well, Nick Coleman played for Willie Simmons, and now he GA'd for Willie Simmons. Now he's the offensive coordinator. And they had a good plan today. I mean, you look at this game, and look, there's still 5 minutes left. We've seen crazier things happen. Here they are on a 2nd and 10. They had a nice play, just couldn't find many explosive plays. See if they get a chunk play here.
Jenkins, and he slides down. He finished that slide at the 36, but he started it at the 34. So he's got the nickname on the front of the shirt. That's why it was sleeveless in that photo.
You know, you're talking about Kewan Jenkins, and Willie's seen so many talented quarterbacks and success everywhere he's been. He said in this game, quarterbacks, because Penn State does so much, there's a phrase in the QB world of see a lot, you see a little. If you see a little, you can see a lot. So for on this 3rd down, you just want to identify who do I have to make my read off of. See just a little bit, make a quick decision. There he is on another RPO.
He keeps it, and he meets Tony Rojas immediately, pick up a 1.
All 4 down territory here, clearly. And in comes Owen Wayful, the transfer from Michigan, on the defensive line. Again, just another look by this defensive front today.
Been good on 3rd downs, or on 4th downs, excuse me, 3 of 4. Jenkins, and it's broken up. King Mack. You talk about a deep secondary, he's a big part of it.
King Mack, he started on his heels, and then he started sprinting towards that crossing route, sprinting towards the sideline. Penn State ball.
Of course, tonight, after all the games, after the quadruple header, after football is done, Final Drive, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance, catches you up on everything that happened in a big Saturday and Friday. There were a couple Friday games.
There were. They were pretty fun last night. Malik Washington.
You're a big Malik Washington guy, quarterback in Maryland.
Preston Stone looked the part.
He did. For Northwestern, the quarterback. Penn State takes over after the 4th down stop. And look out! And goodbye, K-Tron Allen. Hello, end zone. $67 yards.
The results of the play is a touchdown. Sideline warning. FIU, their first warning. There is no yardage penalty with the warning.
The man everybody just calls Fat. Fat. A nickname from his childhood. You rare to hear everyone say K-Tron around the facility. And he can move. Barker. Got it. 27-0 Penn State.
This is an impressive run, and not just because it was a touchdown, but watch the patience or kick out block from Reynolds. You're thinking, okay, just make sure you end the game, stay in bounds. He says, nah. I'm going to take this one the distance. I love it. Run it to the side of where you're aligned when it's an offset back. Nice block downfield. The tight ends, Dinkins getting involved as well. Both tight ends, key blocks, just punishing
FIU defenders. And then Katron Allen, a man with a sense of urgency, tiptoes down the sideline. I love how he leans in late, buys himself a little bit more yardage, and then a pseudo front kind of flip, somersault into the end zone to the student section. And that's how you punctuate game 2 as a senior who came back mission-minded with a sense of urgency.
Guys, talking to Marcus Hagans, the wide receivers coach, before the game, obviously you can imagine with a running back group like this, perimeter blocking is key. Did you see the hustle right there of Kyron Hudson to get down there and get in front of a couple closing FIU defenders? They practice that stuff all the time. They actually use like pseudo handcuffs to keep their hands locked inside so they don't draw one of those holding penalties.
Longest run of the career for Katron Allen. His previous long came back in 2022 against Rutgers. This was 67 yards. That's the second kick out of bounds for Roshu today. So again, the ball come out to the 35-yard line.
Kickoff out of bounds. Kicking team number 99. The ball in place at the 35-yard line. First down FIU.
Red reference Kyron Hudson. You'll see as the play unfolds. This run is pretty special, and here comes the downfield block one, kick out from Reynolds. Then you see the tight ends right here. They do a nice job there. And then watch this receiving core, the sprint at the top. And that is going to be on film on Sunday. Look at the speed from the transfer from LA. Kyron Hudson getting a little taste there at the end. That is exactly what championship teams do. You're selfless. It's not about, oh, the pass game wasn't perfect today. I didn't get my touches. I didn't get another touchdown. It's, no, how can I help this organization be better? 1% better, as James Franklin says all the time, go 1-0. That is a beautiful example of what going 1-0 looks like.
New quarterback for FIU, Joe Pizanski, has come into the game for Kiwan Jenkins. Well, I know they're going to check the GPS tracker and Kyron Hudson after that run. They have a guy in their center, Nick Dawkins, who won the Warfel Trophy last year, right? That is an award that not just reflects how good you are. I know you were there. You talked to him at the ceremony, Yogi. It's also about what you do in your community. And it's like the all-around great everything award. And they were not shy about telling us, the coaches, look, Kyron Hudson is an elite dude like that. Like we've added another guy like Nick Dawkins to this offense. Most teams don't have one of those, maybe, let alone two.
Yeah, it was Andy Kotelnicki and James Franklin. They reference, like, you feel good about society and life when you meet young men like like Kyron Hudson and Nick Dawkins. Great addition, Hudson, to this team as a playmaker, as a veteran voice, and also with the intangibles that we saw right there on that downfield block.
Pizanski has it broken up. Colin Dinkins, the brother of the tight end Khalil Dinkins, is able to knock it away, and we hit the 2-minute timeout. Oh, he caught it, excuse me. Yogi, I said Dinkins broke it up. Fournette caught it. All right, now we've hit the 2-minute timeout. Finally gotten happy today in Happy Valley.
Always exciting to say number one is next, and that's the case. Top-ranked Ohio State at home against Grambling State coming up next here on the Big Ten Network. Brock, should be an easy win. What do the Buckeyes look to get out of Saturday?
Well, any time I get to watch Caleb Downs play football, it's a magical moment for me. More domination. Matt Patricia laid the groundwork a week ago for something maniacal. I can't wait to see what he has dialed up.
Don't worry, Buckeyes. Texas not coming through those horseshoe doors. Back to your game.
2-minute timeout. Time to dance. No question about it. Let's take a look back before the 2-minute timeout. Did Ross Fournette catch this? It's ruled a catch on the field. Spoiler, the answer is yeah, he caught it.
It's a great catch by him. Kind of double caught it, but got his left forearm underneath it. Nice job by Fournette, the sophomore out of Florida.
Welcome in those of you that have been watching Minnesota today. Gophers in a weather delay during a dominant performance. Penn State little slow starting today. Ball comes out. It's picked up. Going the other way is Chaz Coleman. And he gets caught down at the 5.
The ruling on the field is fumble. Recovery defense. First down, Penn State.
On a star-studded defense, Chaz Coleman has announced his presence today.
This was such an impressive play by Coleman. You'll see him coming off the edge. Watch everything. First off is get off. Then the hands against the tackle. Be able to get underneath it. Then the hand to the quarterback. He hits the ball. And then his flexibility to be able to bend down and pick the ball up, not fall on it. He didn't flinch. I mean, he looks like a tailback. That is unbelievable. Picks it up. Yeah, the sideline. I'll be doing the same thing. Whoa.
I got to tell you, if there was NBA Jam video games of football and you only got 2 players, I think he'd be a good pick. New quarterback for Penn State, Ethan Grunkemeyer, has come in. And he hands it off for a touchdown. So Nicholas Singleton joins Katron Allen in the end zone today.
Line up in the pistol formation. Again, tight ends, kick out blocks. Really nice job by the entire offensive line, bringing in some of the 2s. And another returning back who came back mission-minded with a sense of urgency. Finds the end zone, and while not perfect today by any stretch, they found a way.
And he moves closer to Saquon Barkley's career rushing touchdown record, breaks his tie with Kijana Carter. It's like this at almost every position at Penn State. You look at a career list, you go, look at that guy and that guy and that guy and that guy. But that is that list.
You just can't talk about it enough of these 2. James Franklin talked about it with Brett on the pregame show of Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton both had an opportunity to go to the NFL. They love this place so much. They felt like there was unfinished business last year after that loss to Notre Dame in the semifinals. Not only do they come back, but so many others choose to come back. And they lead this thing into off-season workouts, into spring ball, into training camp, and now here in this ball game. And they know what the end goal is. When you look at this roster, they have the blueprint. If you look at the last few seasons, Penn State has the blueprint to go out and be the #1 team in the land. And I think today was great for them to have to play all 4 quarters. It's a great moment. You got to try to find adversity, create adversity. When you look at this schedule, you're wondering what would this game look like. It wasn't clean, it wasn't perfect, but they were able to navigate that adversity. So curious to see what James Franklin, what the leaders of this team said at the half for them to come out and play much more efficient here in the 3rd and 4th quarter.
Well, James Franklin, when he talked to Rhett before the half, or at the half, he seemed confident. We're rusty, we're going to get it fixed. You're talking about a blueprint. It's a blueprint that's worked. It worked in 2023 for Michigan. They returned 12 all Big Ten selections. They went 13-1 and won the title. 13 all Big Ten returners for Ohio State last year. And look, Penn State continues the trend, 14 all-league returners for this team.
And I think a huge part for James Franklin, to your point of what he said to Rhett, heading into half, you look at this graphic and you see, yeah, there's a legit opportunity. It's not just hype. I think it's grounded confidence that's legit. Because James Franklin is so consistent. He's uncommonly consistent, extremely steady. That means the players know what to expect. Tomorrow's film review is not going to be any different than when it was a week ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago. It's just what he brings from a CEO leadership standpoint. And talk to anybody on the team. I had a chance to talk to Bob Palco, who does so much for this program. He's director of high school relations, a long-time high school coach in Pennsylvania. Because he's the best leader I've ever seen, best leader I've ever been around. He's been around so many greats. So you talk to people in the building, and I look forward to hearing just how steady this thing is as the season and the games get bigger from the outside looking in.
Under a minute now. Again, this was a game that was 10-0 at the half. A strong second half. Coleman just missed a sack. He almost got home. He's been doing everything. Yeah, it's incomplete. Now it's 3rd and 5.
You know, I think you're talking about somebody who's really grown from week 1 to week 2 is Chaz Hall. There were times last week where he's lining up and you knew it was his first time. What did he say to Coach Franklin after the game in the tunnel? Like, think how we got through that one, right? Your first time playing in Happy Valley in this beautiful stadium, in this arena, and he was able to navigate it and had some flashes. This was so consistent for him, and you get a healthy Zariah Fisher, you get an emerging Chaz Coleman, this defensive line guy. It's worth all the discussion as being one of the best, if not the best in America.
It'll turn into a comfortable night in the basement for James Franklin.
13 minutes with friends and family right in the kitchen and then to the basement, and there's a lot of ball to watch with this being the game that kicked off your Saturday on Big Ten Network.
Now, I'll tell you what they're thinking right now. Last week, they gave up a touchdown at the end of the game, the only touchdown Nevada scored. And you know a defense doesn't like to do that, so they want to finish this thing with a 0 up on the scoreboard. Pisanski does not get to the first down, so the clock keeps running. FIU has no timeouts. And now it's 2nd down and 1.
I think net guy, you see this in the final, I can imagine the final play of the game. We'll see here.
And the clock stops with 2 seconds.
So we'll get one more here. I think for FIU, a real valiant effort. Honestly, I mean, they had opportunities. You go back to that first half, an 8-play drive, turnover run down to 10-play drive, a pick, you know, in the fringe red zone area. They were able to do some really good things. The environment didn't scare them. So I'm looking forward to watching them in their conference as the season continues and as years continue with Willie Simmons. He's so experienced as a head coach.
And won. And he's won a lot.
He's never had a losing season as a head coach. Why would we anticipate one in his first year here at FIU?
All right, so 2 seconds for this Penn State defense to try and preserve the shutout. And that's what they do. 34-0 for the #2 ranked team in the nation. With the #1 ranked team in the nation still to come next here on the Big Ten Network. Drew Aller, that offense had some work to do at halftime. They did it.
They came out the first 2 drives after the half, really efficient.
That is the end of the football game.
Gave them, took a couple shots, obviously the big touchdown to Ross down the left sideline. But that's the ebb and flows of the season. That's just part and the nature of this great game that we all love. And Penn State advances. And I'm sure James Franklin will have a version of this of, we went 1-0, lot to clean up. Let's go 1-0 again. And they get Villanova coming to town next week, an opportunity to do that before bye, and the Ducks coming to town.
Rhett Lewis is down on the field with James Franklin.
Coach, you were confident when you talked to me at the half that you guys would get things fixed. Some fireworks there at the end. What does today tell you about the way your team finishes?
Yeah, we finished well, but we made it a lot harder than it needed to be. We're playing a lot of young guys, and they're playing like young guys. But we got some work to do, but we'll get it right.
Yeah, Coach, on the defensive side, anytime you get a shutout, it's pretty special. What stood out to you about that group?
Yeah, shutout and turnovers. Our D-line has got to be leading the country in turnovers right now. 2 interceptions, a fumble recovery almost for a touchdown. So those things are positive, and we can build on them. But there's still a ton of stuff we got to get cleaned up.
Coach, I know you pride yourself on being a team that does not hurt itself, that focuses on the details. I don't know if you saw it live on the Katrin Allen explosive play run, but Kyron Hudson sprinting from his wide receiver spot to get a block. How do those little things build this team into a championship team?
Yeah, I didn't see that play, but it doesn't surprise me. That's the type of young man he is, and we try to emphasize that. That's how you win big-time games. That's how you have successful seasons, is guys playing like that for their teammates and giving the extra effort.
Coach, thank you so much. Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Well, you said it. Defensive line, young players, but also it was a shutout. They were able to have the resolve necessary to get the victory. And I like the trajectory of this team. I think they have all the tools. Nobody looked perfect last year early on in the season. They got all the tools to take a real run. Cannot wait to watch this thing continue to grow.
Don't forget the #1 team in the country is coming up at 3:30. It'll be Ohio State and Grambling State right here on the Big Ten Network. The #2 team in the nation, Penn State, moves to 2-0 today with a shutout win over FIU. They play Villanova next week, have a bye, and then they get Oregon. For our birthday boy producer, Glenn Hallis, and our director, Pat O'Connor, thanks for watching. We'll send you to Game Break coming up next.